coming our way here at the Adelaide Oval. And a warm welcome to everybody joining us from Perth Stadium. It is Port Adelaide and Sydney tonight in South Australia. A little lopsided in terms of the ladder positions, but Port Adelaide have been very competitive against some of the best. And the Swans right now at 11-2 with a win tonight will likely jump into top spot with Fremantle on the bye. No Tom McCartan or Justin McInerney for them. Port Adelaide get to blood Xavier Bammett, their mid-season recruit. Harrison Ram in for his second game as well. There are no late changes. Aaron Bryans and Tom Wilson calling the action for you alongside premiership players Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell. We're about 5 minutes away from the game getting underway, so we might get stuck right into it. Loz and Jamo, who's winning and why tonight?
Well, Jamo, I think you can't ignore the season up till this point, and it puts Sydney in a very strong position to take control of the game tonight. I do think that Port Adelaide's best hope is if they can match it anywhere near the Swans at stoppage. That gives them some form of chance. Josh Carr spoke during the week of needing time in front half, and that's mostly got to come from stoppage because Sydney also defend the ground really well. The most important players on the ground, I think, for Port Adelaide tonight are Uli and Asava Radigaleo. If they can take intercept mark, that sets Port's game up to actually control the ball. If they can't control the footy and lose stoppage, I think it could end up pretty ugly tonight for Port Adelaide.
That's the unfortunate thing that I'm thinking too, because if those two don't stand up, it's going to be down there a lot and they'll be in a world of pain. So for those that have just joined us, we were just talking about Sydney's ability to be able to spread the ground, move the football really quick. Or not, their clearance work, contested stuff is elite. And then around the ground, it's just their leg speed and their football ball of use by foot particularly. They'll stretch you, they'll come out wide, they'll go through the middle, and then they'll have runners that handball, carry and support. And then they've got the targets up forward. And when you have a look at the firepower too that's up there in Amati, Curnow, McDonald and McLean, that's just the four height players, you know. And then if Grundy sneaks forward, which he will do, then Heaney throws, like they have got a pretty solid side. So Port Adelaide are on the way up and they've got a bit of work to do and some young players, and hopefully it's not too big a margin. They learn a bit tonight.
Something we have seen from Port in years gone by and since Josh Carr took the reins this year is when they play good sides, they have stepped up to the level. And so I think we should take note of that before this game starts tonight and certainly hope for a strong contest. I think that if they can provide the contest inside and square up stoppages, gives them a chance.
Average losing margin of 7 points to the top teams, and they beat Geelong here just over a month ago. And for Sydney, 6-day break, St Kilda pushed them right to the wire last week. Yep. And yeah, you lose a couple of stars which force you to shift around, so that you never say never in footy. Could be in for a surprise tonight.
Well, we touched on Isaac Heaney. He's kicked 22 goals for the year, and I was just reading too, he's the second player on record to average 25 plus disposals, plus 2 goals over a player's first 11 games in a season. Patrick Dangerfield was the last one to do that in 2017, so that's how well he's going.
There's a reason why he's got a pretty big contract offer on the table from the Swans right now. They want him to be there for life till 2030, and yeah, he's comfortably, I guess, in the box seat right now to win.
Anything like Zach Butters' contract, is it?
I don't think it'll be as high, considering Richmond have apparently offered $2 million a year, but that's something we can unpack across the night for sure. Speaking of which, Zach Butters making his way out into the middle alongside Callum Mills. The crowd's slowly coming in, but what we've been told from those around the venue is that we're anticipating in the mid 30,000s tonight here at the Adelaide Oval. It's been a cold day, so a lot of rain in the morning. It has dried up in the afternoon and the ground does look a peach, but there might be some supporters who prefer to watch this one on the television, given the...
And have a listen to us.
I'm more than happy to have them on. ABC listen, as always, if you want to hear us, local radio around the country. It is Saturday Night Footy on ABC Sport, and the text line is 0437 774 774. Grant and Waterloo's got in touch early, says, have a great call, team, and go Port Adelaide. Let's head down to the boundary line and the build-up to this contest, Port Adelaide and Sydney. Josh Money was watching on at the coin toss. How did it go, Josh?
Yeah, good evening to you, Aaron. The man who's dominated the pre-game, Zach Butters. He's won the coin toss, and Port Adelaide will keep to the southern end of the ground in this first quarter. As you said, it's not a huge crowd, but those who have turned out at the moment have nice dry conditions to deal with. It's been raining relentlessly all day in Adelaide, but it's certainly cleared up now, and it's actually a pretty good night for footy as well. And as we talk about an eye to the future for Port Adelaide, looking at this centre bounce, Joe Richards in there, Jason Horne-Francis and Willem Drew. Zach Butters starting forward. So once again, we saw a little bit of that last week, but is that potentially a night of the future and Josh Carr's plans going forward for next year. Looking forward to this one. Joe Berry, Ollie Wines, Logan Evans, Todd Marshall and Jackson Mead start on the bench report. Riley Bice, Harry Kyle, James Jordan, Angus Sheldrick and Hayden McLean for the Swans.
It's a bit of mind games early, but a lot on the line. The Swans looking to move to top spot, and Port Adelaide are only 2 games out of the top 10 with the wildcard system, so they'll be hoping for something big. Here we go, Saturday night footy on ABC Sport, the Power and the Swans. You're with Tom Wilson.
Fascinating to see Zach Butters in the forward line. Grundy does his best work in the ruck, knocks it out. Heaney ran over the top of it, so did Horn Francis for the Power. And the Port player dived on that, but the umpire will ball it up. So just move a little bit forward for the Swans.
Not surprising, Drew has gone to Heaney, but Warner on Horn Francis.
So they do it all again. Socket forward by Wicks. Richards pushed off it by Rowbottom. Warner flew through that pack and Horn Francis got the handball. Rowbottom rode into his back. It'll be a free kick to the Power superstar. Just defensive side of the logo, outer side of the ground.
Horn Francis fresh off 3 goals last week against the Eagles, arguably best on ground. Short pass, maybe it was Radaglia, to Richards. Now he uses Drew at the attacking edge, buffeted off his kick, but he got enough on it, punched it to the left forward pocket. Georgiades is caught behind. Whitlock had a little fly, but the fist comes in. And a boundary throw in to come, 10 out, left forward pocket. No late changes if you just joined us as well. The D's knocked off the Bombers by 45 at the G earlier. They're locked in for the top 4 by the end of this weekend. North Melbourne and the defeated the Eagles by a point earlier. Tossed in, Grundy takes it out of the ruck, hands it to Heaney. Sharp though, Horn Francis running out of room, caught in the tackle of Mills and lost the footy over. We'll get another boundary throw in. Port's 50, 25 out, left forward pocket.
One benefit of Zach Butters starting forward for Port Adelaide is he's right in this stoppage as a forward, which makes him really, really dangerous.
Want to keep it in their forward half, Loz. Boundary throw in. Jordan Sweet knocks it down to Horn Francis, roves it well, snaps around the body, the cheers building, but on the line Edwards knocks it over. First score of the night, a minor one. Power get it, take the lead there, 1 behind. Sydney yet to score. Almost 2 minutes gone, first term.
All the talk about Horn Francis' inability to win the footy. In 3 contests already, he's on the move and getting his hand to it.
Nick Blakey plays on from the defensive goal square. Career best season for him so far. Tries to flare the kick across the body up to Heaney, but it's cut off on midway. Durden knocked it to ground, picked it up and was instantly tackled, holding the ball. And Sydney just want to go. Mills shoots a handball that's a little wayward of Lloyd, but he did well to paddle it. Chad Warner with a worm burner. It's an awful kick off the side of the boot. Rolled straight to Burn-Jones. Port Adelaide get another turnover. On Francis central, the kick wasn't long enough to Drew. Now under pressure is Sweet. Gang tackled and just can't break free of Amati, holding the ball. So the Swans' ball use hasn't been the best, but their pressure's been right up early. Free kick centre square.
It's the Warner kick. He just had to go to centre half back, really. He had 3 or 4 players running for him.
Amati tries to release Blakey, but had nowhere really to go. The ball's closing in, gets it back to Big Joel. Amati into the 50, blazed away, didn't look ahead and kicks it straight to Darcy Burn-Jones. Port by a point, opening 2 minutes.
Lowers the eyes, finds Lockie Jones, right half back. 45 kick, and here's Bammett. Gets his first touch as an AFL player, moves it quickly towards Georgiades, who flies, couldn't complete the mark. Rove by Edwards and handballed it towards Roberts, who knocked that towards the boundary line, but the umpire says no. We'll have a throw-in rather, right half forward for the Power.
Positive signs for Port's defence very early. They've created 3 turnovers off Sydney's offence, which is a really good sign that they're defending the ground well.
Set up and pressuring well. Boundary throw in, Sweet v Grundy. Grundy too strong, but Sweet stood tall. Takes the kick out, bounces inside the 50. And a bit of metres gained. We'll have a throw in about 35 metres from the Power goal, right forward pocket. They've got the only score of the night. It was a minor one, 3 minutes 40 into this first term.
Good signs early. They won the 3 clearances so far on offer, Port Adelaide. Sydney looking for a response, just down a point. Tossed in, Port 50. Grundy down, only found Richards. Quickly gathers, has a snap. It's a little shallow. Whitlock trying to gather. This came in from behind by Hamling and it rolls through for another minor score. Port 2 behind. Sydney yet to score. We've played 4 minutes at the Adelaide Oval on ABC Sport.
10 kicks, Port Adelaide, 70% disposal efficiency. 4 kicks, Sydney, 0%.
Straight down the hay, diddle from the kick in, putting Port under pressure. Goes inside the forward 50, 1-on-1. Curnow push. Estava Gradaglia out the way and he snaps on the left boot. Hello, Charlie. Gets the Swans first. First opportunity and he goes bang. 1 straight 6. Port 2 behinds, 4.5 gone first term.
It's the simplest possible version of football that you can play, straight up the middle, as you called it, Tom. And what was it? 2 kicks before Curnow touched it. And when the ball hits the ground in that forward line tonight, it's going to cause massive challenges for Port Adelaide. And smart footy for the Swans. The first 3 chains of possession that they tried, they went wide and were slowed down, and kick in from their skipper straight up the guts.
34 goals on the year now for Charlie Curnow. He's got a cheeky smile as well after that one as he went straight towards the Northern Hill and had a bit of a celly as well. So early lead change. Sydney up by 4. And the text line, Dave's listening in Morphettville, hoping the power can upset the Swans. And now we're back underway in the middle. Tap down, Port will win this one. Butters gets it out to Drew. Kicked across the body up to left half forward. Bit short for Whitlock. Clean on the bounce is Cunningham, the veteran for the Swans. Uses Jai Sarong, but his kick's no good. Tried to squeeze it down the boundary line to Cleary. Ends up putting it towards the Bashir stand. Ali will get the free kick. Brings it in pretty quickly. Short pass towards Butters. Now he chips it to Richards. Turns on a dime. High into the 50 for Port Adelaide again. Battling is Georgiades and Edwards. The young Swan gets the fist in. Grundy trying to win it out. Big smother from Mills. Ricochets Burgoyne. Gets it out. Georgiades has a quick kick. Just flung it towards goal and misses wide right. Port Adelaide 3 behinds. The Swans 1 straight 6. 6 minutes in.
4 inside 50s, Port Adelaide. They just need to lower their eyes a bit more. They're winning the football well.
So Blakey brings it back in for the Swannies. Goes long towards the wing, up towards Amati. Ram gets the fist in. Rode by Grundy off the tackle of Burgoyne. Got it away to Roses, to Jordan. And Grundy there, he was fixing his socks and the handball came his way. So the quick kick goes straight to Farrell. Short in board to Richards. They're trying to move it quickly here. The power towards Butters. He lowers the eyes and hits the target. Georgiades marks 40 metres out directly in front.
I feel like I'm in the coach's box.
That was good footy. I think Port forcing Sydney to come down this wing in front of us, and they've forced 4 turnovers now right in front of us. Straight back through the middle, and again Butters starting forward allows him to find some freedom through the midfield, as is Joe Richards. He's up to 5 possessions.
That Grundy kick, and there was another one earlier too, wasn't it? Both deep forward or go forward and straight to the opposition.
So Georgiades, we know he's had plenty of opportunities this year. Can he capitalise on one early? Missed the snapshot. Goes the drop punt this time. He's got the journey just away to the left. Drifted late. Another minor score. That's 4 behinds for the power. The Swans 1 straight 6, 7.5 gone first term.
That's 28 goals, 30 for the year, Georgiades.
It's plagued them throughout the campaign. They're getting so many opportunities, but just so inaccurate. Whitlock's been the same. Sydney clearing kick, looking for McDonald. It's cut off. McKinlay got it wide. Bammett tried to get it into the 50. Scrub kick, though, no good. Didn't really help the run of Cochrane, and it's knocked over the boundary line. Swans just look a little off early. Port Adelaide doing their best to try and keep with them, but haven't really punished them. 4 behinds to 1 goal.
Yeah, certainly Port Adelaide's defence has been fantastic. They just haven't taken their opportunities in front of goal.
Tossed in inside their 50, chance to take the lead. Grundy gets front position, double tap down, only found Cochrane, snaps across the body. It's curling its way across the goal face, backtracking his handling. He's collided into by his teammate. The ball shoots out. Handball comes to Durden, gets it to Drew. He kicks it back across the face where it came from. Blakey loses it in the lights. The Swans have no clue what's going on, and Port Adelaide just cut fire. Wines on hands and knees, tries to get a handball out, can't extract it. Pinballs through a few bodies. McKinlay decides to have a crack. He snaps too low, and sitting back is the goalkeeper. Intercepted on the goal line, and the Swans get away with one there through Roberts.
I can see you shaking your head in my peripheral, Loz.
Oh, it's hard for him because Port are working so hard and getting so much right, just not maximising the opportunities in front of goal.
Burne-Jones sends it back inside the forward 50, roved by Marshall. His handball towards Wines, missed the target, but he did well. Fires it back to Butters. He finds a target just inside the 50 and sweet marks. Just a slight angle away to the right. They'll have another shot on goal.
Both of Zach Butters' kick inside 50 have found their targets, and that's what they need more of. To Loz's point, they feel like they're under pressure, and they all are trying to have this snap on goal. It's going higher more than it is in terms of distance, and as a defender going deep on the line, you'd be quite happy with that.
So 7 inside 50s to 2. Sweet unloads from 50, another drop punt, just that extra journey. He pulls it to the left. Another minor score, 5 now for the power. Sydney a 1 straight 6.
5 scoring shots to 1, but it's the Swans who lead. Trying to get it out of the defensive 50 at the moment. So Edwards pass to the left-back pocket. Jai Sarong's there at the moment, likely filling the void of Tom McCartan, who's out with concussion. Passes back to the top of the defensive goal square to Blakey. 1 point lead right now for the Swans. Called to play on. He'll send it long to the broadcast wing. Couple of flies, including Grundy. Just didn't get the knee into the back of Sweet. Not enough on the fingertips to paddle it towards Roberts. His kick up to Curnow. Couldn't control it. Radagalier puts his head over the footy. Coming the other way was the hard attempt from Edwards. And they wrap each other up and hit the deck. Gee, that was a good commitment from both players to try and win the footy.
It's a good contest and protected each other. Good hard footy.
Tossed up, Sweet down. Only found Chad Warner. Arcing away from Horn Francis. The handball inboard for the Swans. Trying to find its way to Sheldrick. Knocked the ball back towards Mills. He missed his handball. Picked off by Sweet. Horn Francis on the turnover. Gets it wide. Mead towards the 50. Kick was a little wide of his target, Georgiades. Fighting his Marshall for it on hands and knees. Over the top of him was Sarong. Rowbottom rips the ball away. Bangs the kick out of there. Just a jam central through the defensive 50. It's going to work. Handball chain. James Jordan for the Swans. Gets it out to the eastern side. Caden Cleary clean against pressure. Gets it to Amadi. It's a low kick. No good. Bullet pass that didn't help Roses. Burn-Jones on the half volley. Slick. Tried to get it to McKinlay. Little fumble. He's dancing and weaving and dodging and breaking the ankles of McDonald. But he gets it out of there with a kick that's right on the boundary line. And off hands, it'll carry towards the Bashir stand.
A super work defensively from Darcy Burn-Jones. He read it really early, took front position, and that allowed him to win a pretty high-pressure ground ball in D50. And now almost a front-half stoppage for Port Adelaide.
See how good defensively the Swans are too when Port Adelaide are trying to get back and drop it deep inside their 50.
They have been under siege, Jamo. They have the lead. And we'll have a ball up straight from this throw-in. Jordan and Horn Francis at the bottom. Sweet and Grundy in the ruck. Sweet knocks it down. Gets it back again. Tries to shove Warner out the way. His kick doesn't really go in any direction. McDonald for the Swans knocks it forward. Gathered by Lockie Jones for the Power. Handball inboard to Richards. Gets a quick kick away down the wing. To a contest. Flying is Horn Francis and he's strong. He plays on quickly. They're trying to move it quick. The Power. He lowers his eyes and hits the target. It's Babbitt. He's going to have a shot just inside the forward 50 away to the left.
You hear the crowd already love this guy. He's had 2 possessions. Oh, he's definitely a Port Adelaide player the way he goes about it.
Just keep an eye on Nick Blakey too in that contest where Jason Horn-Francis took the mark. When he landed awkwardly, he sort of grabbed at his right hip. So, on debut, Xavier Bammett picked up in the mid-season draft. Got the bright pink boots on. Steps to 50. Unloads with a big drop punt. But it's away to the left. Gave it a good roost. But a minor score. It scores level now. The Power 6 behind to the Swans 1 straight 6. 2 of them are rushed and certainly 2 or 3 of them should have gone through. Wasteful.
Frustrating if you're a Power fan. Bice out of the defensive goal square to Cunningham. Called to play on. Sends it long down the line. Aliir with 3 bites at it and 2 to beat. Just couldn't reel the footy in. And the Swans pounce. Cleary gets it out with the handball to McDonald. Now thrust forward by Warner. He gives it off to Sheldrick. They've got plenty of pace here. This is what Rod Jamieson worried about in the pre-game. But Port Adelaide kept fighting. Cleary tried to be too fancy. Tackled by Farrell. Gets it out late but gives it away. Aliir now off the turnover. Sends Port Adelaide up to half forward. Marshall crunches into the pack. Hits Sarong hard. He pops up okay. Durden tries to tow it central for the Power. On hands and knees. Bammett flings a handball back. They give up some territory. Winds to Mead to Lockie Jones. Back towards the 50. Rushed it and turns it over to Sydney. Interception by Bice. Swans and Port Adelaide locked at 6 apiece, but only one of them have a goal, and that is the visitors.
I just feel Port Adelaide to take a breath, boss. Just slow down with the footy.
So Jordan handballs inboard to Blakey and he finds the target of Lloyd. The experience pays off. He marks 40 out on a slight angle to the left.
Yeah, and finding this mark inside 50 is just a testament to the experience of the Swans players in that chain of possession. And if they can finish this, the challenge for Port is going to be to just take that breath now and continue to back themselves, because a lot of this game is going right for them.
Just the passage of play then by Sydney, just that forward handball on 2 occasions, the short kick, and then Blakey running, all the things that we were concerned about. If Port Adelaide were going to win.
game. 285 for Jake Lloyd, and such a solid contributor across the journey. Played most of it at half-back, but he delivers up forward. His 8th goal of the season, the 2nd for the Swans tonight. They go to 2 straight 12. That hurts the power. They're 6 behinds, almost 15 gone in this first term for ABC Sport.
10 inside 50s to Port Adelaide. Loz forward to Sydney. We find Sydney have kicked 2 goals, but the marking, Port Adelaide seem to be using the football better, but it's just, again, repeating this, just a bit rushed and not settling down and using the football as well as they should to the right teammate in a good position.
We've talked about stoppage as well leading into the game. Port Adelaide have had 8 clearances to zip for Sydney, and just a sign, I do think Port are getting a lot right. They just haven't been able to capitalise in that front half, and Sydney, super finish from Lloyd.
Just remember when Alistair Clarkson was at the Hawks and the way that they played, he said, I'm not too fussed about the clearances or the contested, it was just the uncontested, and we'll maintain the football and they're going to come and get it off us. And I think that's how Sydney are playing right now.
Swans by 6. McLean down looking for Jordan. Picked off by Barry, who's collared too high. So he's surging towards half forward by Wicks. So Joe Berry just outside the attacking 50 for the power. Steps across. Places it top of the goal square. Georgiades had some space, but the kick was just too high. Getting back to cut it off is Logan McDonald. He'll be featuring a bit around the ground. You'd think he did a little bit like that with St Kilda. Obviously known for his efforts up forward. Did miss most of last year with his ankle injury, or the entirety of the season, but can swing back when needed. The Swans now exit. McLean on the run away from Whitlock, takes it at right half back. Right in front of the Rashudo stand. Kicking to the left-hand side of your radio dial. Northern Hill. McLean, pinpoint. Big man. Good drop. Hits McDonald. Flirting with the boundary line through the eastern side. He sends it down to Cleary. So the Swans methodical at the moment, leading by a goal. Up to right half forward now. This is the long kick that can be cut off, and Logan Evans gets in front to do just that. Port Adelaide with the turnover.
So they got it at left half back, short to Aaliyah. And he's going to play on now. Kick long down the line. Looking for the target in Burgoyne. Floating across the front was Whitlock. Couldn't complete the mark. Roved out the back by Sheldrick. Handballs over the top to Jordan, who does in so to Cleary. Another one in board to Cunningham. Back inside to Sheldrick, but it was just his back shoulder. Puts himself under enormous pressure. 3 power players lay the tackle. They get the turnover through Farrell. Goes out wide towards McKinlay on the logo. Georgiades is steaming out in front of him, and he couldn't quite complete the mark. 2 bites of the cherry, chop of the arm. That goes against Hamling. So Georgiades will have it 75 from goal.
I hate that rule. As a defender, there's not much more you can do in terms of your armoury to win the footy back.
Going inside the forward 50 is Georgiades. Trying to rove it is Berry off the drop mark. Handballs it in board. And Durden in the goal square. The power can't miss from there. And Durden keeps his streak going of a goal a game this season, and they level it up the power. They're 1-6-12. Sydney, a 2 straight 12, 18 gone first term.
Love that forward craft, particularly from Joe Berry, just hitting the fall of the ball at pace. Nice little kick from Georgiades to pop it up, and yeah, Berry super crumb. Durden in a good spot. Ollie Wines unselfish. And that much needed goal that Port Adelaide have worked so hard for. Joe Richards is up to 7 disposals, having started the game inside mid. Vaughan Francis 5, Drew 5, and the debutant Bammett 5 disposals already.
I like the way he moves too, and a lefty.
He's got a bit of Sam Powell-Pepper strut about him.
It's been a good year for mid-season draftees. So 8 have played in the first 2 weeks since they've been picked up, or 8 will by the end of the weekend, that's for sure. And it's slotting right in at the moment. Sweet, beautiful tap straight down to Mead out of the middle. Scores level at the moment. The power heading towards the 50. High bounce for Marshall, who decides to go for the contact. Can't really wrestle his way free against Sarong. Clattering in was Sheldrick. Couldn't pick up the footy. Burgoyne can. Hands it back. Georgiades to Sweet. Says, why not? From 50. The big man with a sweet finish. Gee, the Jordan Sweet from downtown has given that everything. And Port Adelaide in front for the first time since the 4-minute mark. Leads changed hands again. 2-6-18 they lead. Sydney 2 straight 12. 19 played opening term on ABC Sport. Lauren Arnell. Rod Jamieson, your experts.
Jamo, if you're a Swans supporter, you'd be listening to the call and not panicking after what happened last week with Saints dominating the game for the majority and Swans picking the win. But I'll tell you what, I don't think there's much more Port Adelaide can do right beyond being more accurate in front of goal. And I love the move of Jackson Mead inside. He's someone who's been on the list for quite a long period of time, always had other mids ahead of him. And to get the opportunity now, as after training as a half-back over pre-season and winning that clearance to lead to the goal, well done, Jackson Mead.
Yeah, 10 clearances to Port Adelaide to 0 at the moment. 25-15 in terms of the contested, so winning the hard footy.
It's a remarkable stat, Jamo, and they surge forward again. The power going the soccer off the deck. Swans player at the bottom was Cunningham. He was tougher. Handballs it out wide. Turnover, though. Whitlock. He's met by a big tackle from Sarong. And the quick kick away from Sydney down the line. Up towards Curnow. Clean bowled him and his opponent. Alir leads the race. He runs a shepherd there for Logan Evans. He handballs inboard towards Richards. Couldn't gather the possession. Out towards the boundary line is Alir, and he's taken over with company by Curnow. And we'll have it thrown right half forward for the Swans. We're trailing by 6 points. Port Adelaide are leading inside 50s 13-4.
I've been waiting a while to use this stat, Jamo. So Port are 16th in the league for goal accuracy at 44%. Last 3 years before that, 14th, 18th, 16th. So it's just plagued them for years, and thankfully they're up at the moment, but could have been a bigger margin. The 6 behind so far. Tossed in, tapped down, and Jackson Mead is spun in the tackle by Rowbottom.
Well, when they lose games, they tend to lose big because they don't kick the goals, which makes a lot of sense, but they kick more behinds majority of the time, and you've just highlighted how long they've been doing it for.
Right half forward for the Swans. Grundy wins it, taps it down. Sheldrick towards the 50. McKean flies with Curnow. Both knocked it down, but Jordan was front and square. Hands it to McLean. Back to Cunningham from 45. He snaps across the face. Actually ends up being knocked through right next to the right hand behind post. So it will be the first blemish of the night for the Swans. 2-1-13. They trail Port Adelaide 2-6-18. Time on first term on ABC Sport.
So Kane Farrell on kicking duties for the Power.
Good to have him back, isn't it?
Takes on Curnow with a bounce up towards the logo. Horn Francis is there. He's outmarked. Doesn't happen too often. And Sam Wicks did very well.
It's a couple of weeks ago that he wasn't playing. I know he's been that left foot, that run, and he's precise in how he delivers the footy.
They've missed it, that's for sure. Wicks inside the forward 50. Logan Evans dropped the sitter. It fell in the lap of Isaac Heaney, who missed a sitter himself. Couldn't maximise the punishment. Minor score there, 2-2-14. Port Adelaide 2-6-18.
Trying to get it out of the defensive half. Darcy Byrne-Jones plays on right in front of the hill. Sends a helicopter up towards the broadcast wing, and there's a whistle before the fly is even launched. It is going Sydney's way. Nick Blakey has the footy and sends it back where it came from. 20 out from home. Couple of flyers, and McLean really launched into a few. Alir at the back door. Under a bit of pressure from Heaney. Got a handball. And trying to half volley it out of nowhere was Jake Lloyd. Not sure what he was going for there on the tight angle 10 out. Right on the boundary line, trying something out of the World Cup, and has ended up kicking it straight into the hill.
Don't mind it, though.
Watching too much of the round ball game, Jake Lloyd. Radagalier up towards the broadcast wing again. Couple of fists. Knocked down Butters, though. Swift shoots the handball wide, and Farrell with that lethal left is pinpoint. He has weighted it all the way to the attacking edge to Burgoyne. Now into the 50, but the delivery's poor. Whitlock was running towards the goal square, and it was a shallow entry. Sydney cut it off, and now they get the rebound counterpunch. Wicks towards Mills. He gets the handball out. Kick smothered, though. Trying to move it through the outer side was Kyle. Coming back now, Barry. Back towards the 50, and Horn Francis is all alone in the left forward pocket. Did hear a few whistles, though, so it might be coming back. What's going on here?
They're playing advantage.
That's just bizarre.
Ridiculous, Jamo.
He called that back like several times, and everyone stopped.
I heard it and just wanted to keep going, and Jason Horn Francis now gets the uncontested mark. Tight angle 15 out, but you're right. It felt like there was a free kick eons ago.
No doubt, but another shout out to Xavier Bammett. He was the player that was smothered the footy and created that contest that's led to this mark, not just the free kick.
Dean Cox will be a little flat if this hurts them on the scoreboard. Jason Horn Francis, 17 goals, 10 for the year. Very tight angle near the Rashudo stand. Couple of steps, 25 out, never in doubt. The Hornet strikes. Porter up by 10. 3-6-24 for the Swans, 2-2-14. 24 played, first term. Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamieson with you for Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Just 3 goals, 6. You just can't get past that particular result for the amount of football they've had inside 50 on 15 occasions. It's again the concern for Sydney. They go forward, that's 7 times and they've scored 4, so just their ability to be able to damage. But credit to Port Adelaide, the way they've attacked this first quarter, attacked the footy, and also their pressure and all their clearance and contested work's been exceptional. Against a side that is known for all of that.
Had that period there where they were struggling to get out of their back half, Port, which they have struggled with all year. But once they did, great kick from Farrell and able to hold it inside the forward 50. Grundy grabs it out of the ruck, handballs it towards Warner. But Butters worries him out of it. His quick kick around the body. Didn't hit the target, but Bamet's in there again. He's got 2 Swans bringing him down. He's already a cult hero, Loz.
Oh, I love him.
That VFL stuff, though, too, it's close, contested, hard football, so that's where he's come from.
So Grundy out of the ruck, handballs towards Warner. Got some time. Kicks a very high ball towards centre half forward. Cleary v Evans. Evans gets the fist down, roved by Burgoyne. Quick kick out to space towards the logo. Swans have numbers here. Grundy gathers, shrugs the tackle of Georgiades. Handballs to Mills. Lowers the eyes and he misses the target over the top of Roberts, and it lands in the lap of McKinlay.
Looks inboard. Porter moving this pretty fast. Richards gives it off to Butters. A little bit too hot for Marshall. Fist came in. Swans now get the rebound. Heaney releases Blakey, but he had a ball in front of him. Lockie Jones coming in hot. Just had to rush the handball. Knew he was in trouble and he gives it away. Burn-Jones for the power. Uses Durden. This is fast, frenetic footy. Port towards the 50. On Francis is brought down before the drop. No whistle. Wicks bobs up and takes the footy and gets away with one there. Rolling kick to Blakey. Buffeted away by Sweet. Wines gets a crack for Port Adelaide. Back towards the attacking 50. And Joel Hamlin gets the best of Jack Whitlock. Take a breath. What a game we're seeing. Riley Bryce with 3 bounces as he races out of the half-back line.
Goes for a quick kick inside the 45, and Warner took it one-handed. Flicks it over to Heaney, who's in the centre of the ground. 2-on-1 if they can get this to ground, but Aaliyah ran through the contest, knocked it forward, gathered it left half-back. You can hear the Port fans. They love that. Kicks up towards the logo, outer side of the ground, and he hit the chest of his teammate, and he dropped a centre as Butters. Can you believe it? You can't. Holding the ball in the meantime. Swans win the free kick. Heaney up towards centre half forward. Kick was partially smothered. Evans did well. Burn-Jones goes inboard, finds Wines.
Again, the overlap's there for the power if they can spot it, and he does. Heads to the eastern side, and in plenty of space is Berry. Uses it well as he checks the kick to Durden at left half forward. Options on the lead. Marshall was free. He goes to Georgiades instead, and Hamlin was right alongside him with the fist. Not the right option there, and it will be a boundary throw in 25 out.
Well, Todd Marshall not happy at all that didn't become his footy, and you can't blame Durden because Jace Burgoyne actually ran right through Marshall's lead, and I wouldn't kick it there either. There was far too many numbers by the time he was ready to kick.
I feel like Port Adelaide players have been given the keys to a V8 and they can't quite drive it properly yet.
Tossed in, Grundy with a double tap to Mills, gets it back. Clearing kick, rolling its way up to the eastern side for the Swans. Cleary gave it to Lloyd. He kicked it straight into the face of Burn-Jones. And the Falcons going to hurt Port Adelaide as well. It was the advantage of Rowbottom, but he decides to tow it and kicked it straight to Aaliyah. He's given it straight back. It's volleyball footy right now, but it is absolutely electric. The Swans now through Bice to Mills, then Heaney up to the 50. Perfectly weighted up towards Roses, who got out the back and ran towards the top of the goal square. Takes the mark. 15 out, straight in front. And finally, we can slow down and have a look at a set shot.
Just can't. Port Adelaide just can't sustain the type of football they want to play. Whereas that passage of play then from Sydney, that is exactly how Sydney play. They just use the footy. Heaney involved in that. One side of the field, just kicks across the body to Roses, who found the space.
The star recruit, Malcolm Roses, what a season he's had. A little hop skip, but an easy finish for him straight in front. Right on the quarter time siren. The Swans bring the margin back to 4. It's Port Adelaide 3-6-24. The Swans 3-2-20. And our goal scorers are all individuals so far to start the night. So for Sydney, Roses, Curnow and Lloyd. And for Port Adelaide, Horne-Francis, Sweet and Corey Durden, who, as Tom mentioned, kicked a goal in every game this season. And it is absolutely elite company that he's alongside. So Mitch Georgiades, Nick Watson, Aaron Norton, Jake Waterman and Ben King at the moment. So Corey Durden right up there with some of the greats in the competition right now. And gee, what could have been for Port Adelaide with those 6 behinds. It's a cracking contest. I imagine there'll be a few of you who are sitting at home expecting a nice easy night watching the footy and listening on ABC Listen. Gee, we might have a cracking contest on our hands. It is Port Adelaide by 4 at the first change on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Some chase the story.
We'll be interviewing some of Australia's most famous faces.
And some are the story.
Hello, beautiful people.
The piano, the assembly, and race around the world.
This is fabulous.
I loved it.
Great storytelling on ABC iView.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Straight down the hay diddle from the kick in, putting Port under pressure. Goes inside the forward 50, one-on-one. Curnow push. Estava Granagralia out the way and he snaps on the left boot. Hello, Charlie. Gets the Swans first. First opportunity and he goes bang. So Jordan handballs in ball to Blakey and he finds the target of Lloyd. The experience pays off. He marks 40 out. Game 285 for Jake Lloyd. And he's such a solid contributor across the journey. Played most of it at half back, but he delivers up forward. His 8th goal of the season, the 2nd for the Swans tonight. Going inside the forward 50 is Georgiades. Trying to rove it is Berry off the drop mark. Handballs in board. And Durden in the goal square. The power can't miss from there.
Couldn't pick up the footy. Burgoyne can. Hands it back. Georgiades to Sweet. Says, why not? From 50. The big man with a sweet finish. Gee, the Jordan Sweet from downtown has given that everything. Back towards the 50 and Horne-Francis is all alone in the left forward pocket. Did hear a few whistles though, so it might be coming back. What's going on here?
They're paying advantage.
That's just bizarre.
It's ridiculous.
Very tight angle near the Rashudo stand. Couple of steps, 25 out, never in doubt. The Hornet strikes. Porter up by 10. The star recruit Malcolm Roses, what a season he's had. Little hop skip, but an easy finish for him straight in front. Right on the quarter time siren. The Swans bring the margin back to 4.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
A hot start and a cold night in Adelaide. It is Port Adelaide by 4 at the first change. And Sydney, gee, they've been up against it in the clearance battle and the power have been very inaccurate up forward. Feels like we could have a good contest on our hands on ABC Sport. Earlier, Melbourne defeating Essendon by 45 at the MCG, so the D's will finish the round in 4th. And North Melbourne defeated the West Coast Eagles by a point as well. On the text line tonight, 0437 774 774. Brett in Canberra says the Swans look more dangerous when they play through the corridor. Important to shut that down. And why are they playing so frenetically? Also, Lockie getting in touch saying it's great to see Gather Round extended for another 3 years. And Anthony's wondering when we'll get a female senior AFL coach, and is suggesting Lauren Arnell was one of the candidates to potentially be that. She's shaking her head. Sorry, Anthony. I think
It's very kind, but I'm not sure that's desired.
I thought you were going to say it's more you love working with ABC Sport. And that's
Well, yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm not sure. I think if anyone was to do it, the names that come to mind for me are Alicia Eva and Daisy Pearce.
Love those suggestions. And Alicia's work with us in Sydney is terrific as well on ABC Sport. Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell, your experts tonight. What did we just see, team? I felt like we barely stopped talking through that quarter. It was just end-to-end footy.
I think it was just speed, wasn't it? That both teams wanted to put speed on the football, and Port Adelaide were able to do it, but they just couldn't control it. I think Jordan Sweet, that's one of his better first quarters I've seen. 5 disposals, 1 goal, 10 hit-outs against Grundy, who had 8 disposals, 5 hit-outs. So he's doing the work that he needs to around the ground and giving his midfield first touch. Clearances overall 11-4 in favour of Port Adelaide too, but just the ability to be able to control the football, use the football better. It's been a bit more Sydney.
And the Swans have just been so much more direct, haven't they? And when they do get the ball out the back behind Radagalia and Aaliyah, there's really no hope for Port. So I think an important player out there for the Swans, which I'll be watching very closely to start this quarter, will be Nick Blakey. He's had 8 disposals and 258 metres gained in a quarter of footy, and so important for the way they go about their game, and has been able to provide that direct footy for them. 6 kicks of those 8 disposals. And I was watching throughout that quarter, Jamo, and I mean, it's not fair on Corey Durden. He's about my size, which is a whole head shorter than Nick Blakey. I was wondering if there's a tag there, but then that seemed to change a little bit. I do think if you're Josh Carr, you've got to look at that. If Blakey continues in that fashion and continues the metres gained from Sydney off half back, he's doing far too much damage for mine, and Port Adelaide just getting so much right around the contest. Butters again starting forward in this second quarter. 2
inside 50s to add to that as well, with that run, rebound, and the way he's able to use the football too. Willem Drew has got to shut down Heaney, albeit I didn't feel he had a huge impact on the quarter, but he's had 9 disposals. And
sneaks
just
up on you,
doesn't it?
Equal game high with Isaac Heaney and Joe Richards, and the debutant Xavier Bammett, 5 touches to his name and 111 metres gained, so he's looked solid. I should mention as well, FIFA World Cup on at the moment. We've got crosses across local radio over the next few weeks as well, but the Women's T20 World Cup starts tonight. It's already underway, so Scotland and Ireland currently clashing. They're in Group 2. Scotland are 2 for 63 in the 10th. You can hear it on our grey ABC Cricket World Cup button. The Aussies
talk about Australian men's cricket too, either, by the way, Tom.
The Aussie girls in action tonight. They've got South Africa. That's coming up just after 11 Eastern, so you can hear that on ABC Listen. Straight out of the middle to start the second quarter. Aaron Bryans and Tom Wilson calling the action for you, and Grundy gets the clearance but kicks it straight to Aaliyah. So it is Port Adelaide by 4. Aaliyah back to the eastern side. Players converge on hands and knees. Grundy gets a handball out. Wide towards Kyle, who kicks down through the centre circle, and Lloyd takes it in the square. Shoots the handball over the top to Warner, who arches the back on Richards. Dukes it wide. Mills wheeling a full 360 away from Farrell, and then his kick was just too short on the half volley to Cleary, who had a good run at it. Collapsed it to the footy. Jordan Sweet tackles him, and they say it's high. Free kick to Caden Cleary.
Thought they're going to call holding the ball then.
It's tough for Jordan Sweet because he's so much bigger than Caden Cleary. It's right in front of the umpire, so you have to give credit to the umpire for calling that because it's right in front of her. But clumsy from Sweet. He's a big guy. If you can keep your feet in that tackle and hold it in, it's an instant free kick. He went to ground. Umpire's less than 10 metres away.
Not everybody says softest free kick ever, but that one was like genuinely, by the literally terms, soft. He just tugged him.
It was MMA. It was John Cena type stuff, wasn't it?
Caden Cleary won't mind from 55, tries to ride it all the way home, and it just falls short as Radagalia gets a fist in to knock it through. It is Port Adelaide by 3, and the crowd a little unhappy with how this second quarter has started.
I think that's our very own Eleni T as well, by the way.
Yeah, no South Australia bias clearly here. So Aaliyah kicks down the line looking for Berry. That was in front of Blakey, who got it down to the front of the pack towards Mills. Went to Logan McDonald, took on 2 tacklers. He turned it over with a handball to Burn Jones, who's immediately wrapped up in the tackle. We'll have a ball up right half forward for the Swans. Trailing by 3 points.
Saw Essendon fans had some signs up for James Hird. If you're a Port fan, pop a sign up for Joe Richards playing on ball. He's having a perler.
Absolute perler. And from the ruck, hit out, just out towards the boundary line, so we'll have a throw in.
I don't see too many signs here at Adelaide Oval, do you?
It's not a common thing. It used to be the thing when we were all growing up, right?
See a lot of other venues, but not a lot here.
Boundary throw in. Knocked down towards Horn Francis for Port Adelaide. He runs back to centre half back. Kicks the ball out wide towards Burgoyne. Will it sit? It does. Defensive side of centre wing. Lowers the eyes, goes towards Bammett. Defensive side of the logo, moves it quickly over the top to Jones. Hits the target right half forward. Quick handball to Burgoyne. Looking for a target inside the forward 50, and he just can't hit it. Straight over his teammate's head. Marked by Sarong, who goes short to Mills.
Called to play on Callum Mills, but not a lot of opposition players around him. Plenty of time to lean back, send it down the line, and Curnow gets in front of Radagalia, had him all over the shoulder, and still takes the mark in front on the chest. Short kick over the top was a little casual though. Rowbottom back with the flight had to work, and Burn Jones gets there, hands it to Radagalia, who says, "Come at me," and Curnow answers the call and gets him.
Got him again.
2-0 right now, Charlie Curnow. Pops up and releases the handball. Matty Roberts streamlining by. The Langhorne Creek product back home. Kicks towards the 50. 2 to beat for McLean. Keeps fighting as the ball hits the deck. Big man puts his head over it and shovels a handball out. Trying to tow it through. Unable to really get good contact as it ricochets around his Heaney. Sweet becomes the tackler on Rowbottom. We'll get a ball up. 15 out. Straight in front for the Swans, who are down 3.
Just love the balance of Sydney in that contest too. They were around the outside. Port Adelaide all over it.
Grundy with a hit out towards Aaliyah, wrapped up by Cleary.
Just have a look at the ring of Sydney players around the outside.
Set up well, Jamo. Another ball up. Sweet knocks it down. Heaney roves. Smothered kick by Drew. Port have the numbers at the back. McKinlay. Quick kick. High ball. Up towards his teammate in Cochrane. Sarong's at the back. He goes to ground. Socket off the deck. Blakey got it to the advantage of McDonald. He sends it back inside the forward 50. Curnow's there. He's got 2 in company. It's a free kick plucked here. Going Curnow's way for a hold. So he'll have a shot 25 out up against the boundary line.
You can't say the umpire was too far away from that contest. He was only about 3 or 4 metres, but I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now I've seen the screen, and I think he got it horribly wrong.
So Curnow got the first of the game in that first term. That was a snap on the left. This will be a much tougher kick on the right. Getting some feedback from the Port fans on the boundary. Taking his full 30 seconds. You go the drop punt kick from 30 out along the boundary line. Right forward pocket. And you can hear the cheers. Just snuck in for a minor score. The Swans 3-4-22. Port Adelaide 3-6-24. 5 gone in this second term for ABC Sport.
It's fair to say that set shot was the footy gods speaking.
Farrell plays on. Gee, heaves it hard up towards the broadcast wing. Blakey flies with the fist. Knocked it towards the boundary line, but it will stay in. McKinlay nudged away from the footy. Hard tackle too high as Butters gets in on McDonald. Free kick Sydney. Feels like the roles have reversed this quarter. It's the Swans who are inaccurate but holding possession. Plenty of opportunities, but still down by 2. And his kick is smothered. Butters read it well and closed the gap. He gets the footy as well and is collared for his trouble by Warner. And splattered into after by Jordan. So the double whammy. He earns the hard footy. Free kick defensive edge.
7-5 free kicks in favour of Sydney.
Centres his kick to the spine, and Darcy Byrne-Jones now has it just forward of half back. So Port in front at the moment against Sydney. They've been competitive against the top teams all year. Record of 1-4 though. A lot of close losses. They kick up towards Sweet, who gives it off to Lockie Jones. Blazes into the 50, and Georgiades uses the body on Edwards to take a sliding mark to his left in front of the scoreboard. Set shot, 20 out, 45 to the right.
Good patient build-up from Port Adelaide, and another good run from Lockie Jones. He's made 2 pretty brave runs as a deeper defender in this quarter, just trying to generate some more aggressive offence, and a nice delivery and to the absolute advantage of Mitch Georgiades.
So inaccurate so far this season and tonight, Mitch Georgiades. Looking to keep his goal-kicking streak alive. 34 straight games. Starts all the way back at 48 out. Mitch Georgiades with a long approach, drives it hard and home. First of the night for Mitch Georgiades. 35 games in a row, he's kicked a major, and Port's up by 8. 4-6-30 plays 3-4-22. Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it's about what you do when you have the footy in your hands. And at the moment, in this second quarter, 14 kicks, 17 disposals. Port Adelaide are going at 93% in terms of their efficiency. So Jace Burgoyne's had a 2 and he's going at 50%. Needs to lift his game.
That's clearly would have been a message at quarter time, from the Port Adelaide coaching staff, because they had so much of the footy.
Well, I think it was called it out, just that the well-measured, balanced, and the way that the build-up to actually get the footy into their forward half and in deep into their 50 is certainly better this quarter than what it was in the first.
Helps when the forward finishes off, Jamo.
It clearly does. Just put it between the 2 big ones, Tom, please.
Back in the middle of the ground, rove by Heaney. Butters just got there for a tackle and it made it a tough kick towards the logo. Rove by Jordan, handball to Mills on hands and knees, flicked it all the way to McDonald, running towards the 50 is Sheldrick for an immediate response. Away to the left, minus score. Sydney 3-5-23, that's their 3rd of this term. Port Adelaide 4-6-30, 8 gone.
Playing on is Logan Evans as he arcs to the left back pocket, places it to left half back. Radaglia flies in front. This ball came from behind on McDonald. Drew fumbles, pouncing on it. Curnow kicks towards the 50. Aaliyah just slices in front of Amati to cut it off. And quickly plays on as he kicks to the eastern side. Gave it away though. Kicked straight to Harry Kyle.
He's done that twice already.
The Academy product, first round pick out of last year's draft. Getting plenty of game time early. He tries to caress it into the pocket, but it was nowhere near the lead of Amati. It takes a tumble, bounces over the boundary line, 25 out for the Swans, left forward pocket.
You mentioned Alia's poor ball use in this quarter. He's currently giving a spray to Jordan Sweet for being too far away, which is somewhat fair.
Rockman. Boundary throw in. Sweet's there. Gets the hit out. Rowbottom gathers, drop the footy, socket off the deck by Drew. Mills is there, 40 out with a sweeping handball towards the top of the goal square. Farrell's there, handballs back to Aaliyah. Has time to chuck it on the right boot. Out of D50, Marshall comes out. Brings it to the front of the pack. Wines gathers, had two Swans as company. Got the handball away to Burgoyne. He kicks a high ball, not the required. Mills roves, handballs to Heaney. Their superstars took on the tackle of Burgoyne, and it's going to be a lasso free kick because of the pressure.
For a guy of Jace Burgoyne's stature, he lays a very hard tackle. He's had at least two in this game tonight where he's just stood up. Swans have had the momentum and Burgoyne stopped them.
Caught by 7, 10 played second quarter. Short pass from Logan Evans back to Aaliyah as they move it through defensive 50. Kane Farrell on return. Guides it up to left half back. Here's Harrison Ram, first touch of the night. Second game at AFL level for last year's mid-season pick. His kick is miserable. Misses Farrell, who's under pressure. Roses closes and Farrell will walk it over. That is not a good way to make an impression in your first touch in your second game. Minus score, Swans trail by 6.
You'll get better.
So Farrell brings it out after playing on, kicks up towards the logo. Cochrane flies. Over the back was Edwards for the Swans. Durden rove to Wines. Now to Mead. Kicks it to centre half forward. Running onto this one. It's Georgiades at left half forward. Oh, look at that vision. There's two power players lining up. They bumped into each other. Burgoyne dropped the mark. Had time to gather. Swings it around to the top of the goal square. Flying was Durden. That ruined a perfect set shot. No communication. It was Bammett and Burgoyne. They went bam, bam and dropped the mark. Minus score. 4-7-31, 3-6-24.
Bammett tried to just stop and stand and pull out of it, didn't he? He knew where he was at, and Jace has put it down.
Poor Xavier was so apologetic as well. This kick's just as bad. Blakey left back pocket, just tried to drop it into Mills. He's crunched by Drew, and Blakey's kick is smothered by Mead, and it shoots towards the hill. Another rush behind, and it's Port Adelaide by 8. So both sides have been a little bit careless moving the ball out of D50. Port by 8, 11 played second term Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
So the Swans bring it out, clean. Bice gathers, gets the handball away. Oh, kick from Roberts just in time, but the pressure was good. Butters got it away just in time. Hits the target of Marshall, centre half forward, rolls around, looking for the target of Cochrane inside the forward 50. Hits him on the chest, 30 out on a tough angle to the right.
The Port Adelaide players making every effort to get over to the Swans in the middle of the ground and let them know. But Jackson Mead, again, I've given him a shout-out already. 3 defensive efforts in the build-up to that play that has allowed Tommy Cochrane to take this mark. And Port Adelaide's pressure in this second quarter is through the roof.
James Jordan and Butters still going at it. Butters has turned around and had a big solid crack at him.
Tom Cochrane from the pocket. He likes the harder ones, does Tommy. And he gets the Powers second for the quarter. He's first on the night. Margin out to 14 points. 5-8-38. Sydney 3-6-24.
Jamo, really positive signs for Port. You've got to love the way they're going about it. I know we can sit in the frustration of the inaccuracy in that first quarter, but this second quarter now, they're maximising on their opportunities. They're leading inside, they're losing inside 50s 8-4, but making more of it than what Sydney can. I think their defensive pressure's really held up. The pressure factor rating is through the roof. It's above 2, which means it's in the elite space in the AFL competition. and now being able to score on reply on turnover.
It's good. When Sydney have got hold of the football, they're really getting at them, knowing where that footy's going to go. They'll give you a chance if they miss the body, but Port Adelaide's pressure is certainly exceptional.
Game high 14-point lead for them in the second term. Whitlock wins it down, and Richards playing on ball gets the clearing kick. It's an up and under though. Waited an eternity, and Marshall just slings himself into the drop. Ricocheted out wide. The Swans have runners. Towed forward. Bice just couldn't get it to Cleary, and Lockie Jones with a fumble. I think it bounced off his boot, and it's going to be a lasso. Free kick right in front of the Bashir stand. Cleary wants to go straight away.
Just one to watch quickly, guys. Todd Marshall in another aerial contest looks to be really battling after the last one that went forward. He has massive concussion history and looks to be coming off the ground now.
So 1-2, and the kick from Cleary down the line, straight down the throat of Radagalier. So Josh Money will be all over that with Marshall. As Owen said, he's had a really bad and complicated history with them. Down the line to the logo, 3-on-3 off hands, front square Richards, threaded a kick through as it tumbles towards Mead. He tried to brace for contact, caught in the tackle but got a handball out, and the Swans pile on immediately. Gee, it's an absolute sandwich. There's 5 bodies on top of each other, and finally we're going to get a ball up. What are we seeing down there, Josh?
Staying out there for now, which is good. Looked like he had the wind knocked out of him, so I'll keep a close eye.
Whitlock in the ruck now, knocked it down towards Horn Francis. Was sat on there by Heaney, got it to Richards, now to Wines. He goes inside the forward 50. Georgiades and Marshall in the contest. Looks okay for now. Bad handball from the Swans out of defence towards Mead. He tried to shrug the tackle. Oh, Georgiades has kicked it straight into Marshall. Ball in dispute. Kyle braces for the tackle of Horn Francis. Drop the footy. Play on, says the umpire. And we're going to have a ball up 40 metres out directly in front. Not a lot of prior, but not really what you'd call a correct disposal.
Certainly dropped the footy. Whitlock rises and taps it straight to Richards. It was a beautiful set play, and the Swans panicked. Edwards tackled him before the footy reached him, and a set shot to come off the free kick for Joe Richards, straight in front, 35 out.
I think you'll find there that it was Edwards has tackled him, not dissimilar to how Jason Horne-Francis tackled. He loses disposal of the footy, and the correct decision's been called.
I guess it depends if he felt that he actually had enough of it in the first place. It was almost kind of juggling in his possession before the tackle was laid, but I'm with you. I think it's a little stiff. Joe Richards happy to take the gift. 7-7 for the year. He crosses the paint of 50. Joe Richards, straight and hard through the big sticks. Port Adelaide with 3 unanswered goals in the second term, and they're up by 20 points over the Swans. 6-8-44, plays 3-6-24, 16 played, second quarter. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with our premiership stars Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell.
Well, it's all Port Adelaide, but Sydney too are giving Port Adelaide the chance at it as well. In that first quarter, 47 kicks, 58 handballs. So we know they want to handball and handball wide and forward, and in the second quarter they're doing exactly the same, but those forward handballs are just not going to a teammate.
And Port Adelaide's pressure's increased dramatically. Shout out to Joe Richards again. He's on the 13 disposals and a goal, starting as a midfielder. He's back in there again.
6 of the last 7 goals for the Power in this match. The only 3 in this term. Back in the middle of the ground. Sweet knocks it down. Sheldrick grabs it. Wines grabbed his shorts, nearly ripped them off. Handball towards centre half forward was gathered by Burne-Jones. Got the handball away to Berry. Haven't called him much tonight. Drew gathers the footy on his hands and knees. Too hot for Berry. Roses flies through the contest. Evans is there. A high handball towards Sweet, and he's wrapped up by 2 Swans.
Just braced himself, took the footy and caught what's coming.
Ball up on the corner of the square. Sweet grabs it out of the ruck, kicks it high. Up towards the middle of the ground in Durden. Ball bounces out towards Sarong at centre half back. Sweeping handball, puts Hamling under pressure. Did well, got it to Sarong, to Roberts. And further out wide to Bice at left half back.
Paddock to work with again. He takes a couple of bounces, streamlining off the half-back line, and his kick is miserable. Who was that to? Straight down the throat of Harrison Ram in front of the Williams stand. Cleary had an opponent about 10 metres in front of where he went.
He wanted Amati to turn around and come forward.
So Port get the turnover down the line. He's looking for Burgoyne. A nice high fly from behind by Jai Sarong, though. I mentioned it in the pre-game for those who maybe joined us after the conclusion of our coverage of West Coast and North, but Sarong was a future fourth and Malcolm Roses was a 50 and a 60s pick that didn't get used. It's excellent recruiting. Sarong to Bice. Gee, well weighted. He's kicked right over the top of Wines to Chad Warner, who turns, sends it inside 50 for the Swans. Amati 2 to beat and brought down. Ram wasn't looking at the footy. And as a result, a free kick goes the way of Joel Amati. 10 out, tight angle to the left.
Just to the letter of the law, we saw something. Oscar Adams last. Oh, he did cop it high.
Slapped him in the face on the way through, not looking at the ball. It's, I appreciate the Port fans won't be happy about it, but it's absolutely there.
So Joel Amati takes a step, snaps across the body, and gets the Swans their first major of the second. 4:6:30 are Sydney. Port Adelaide a 6:8:44. 19 played, second term. Saturday footy on ABC Sport, and the home crowd will tell you all about how that played out.
They're normally very accommodating and understanding, the Port supporters.
Oh, I'm so tempted, Jamo. I'll have to. Very similar to their hometown rivals, the Crows. It's all the same, isn't it, mate?
He loves fishing, doesn't he, Jamo?
I've bitten.
A much needed goal, though, for the Swans. I mean, Port had kicked, as we mentioned, 6 of the last 7, and that's their first of the term. So bringing it back to a 14-point margin. Certainly a lot of surprised people here at Adelaide Oval. And certainly the Swans team at the moment. Sweet wins it out in the ruck, straight down to Butters. Kicks up towards centre half forward with a high ball, brought to ground, rode by Mead. Forward handball to Berry, just missed the target. He was tackled without it. Georgiades gathered and the umpire saw it. It's tough, but if the player doesn't pick up the footy, you got to let go of the tackle.
Yeah, Roberts just sweated on him, didn't he, as well? And he did go and take hold of the football, but then disposed of it. I think he just got out of his hands and unlucky.
So Berry's going to have a free kick 30 metres out directly in front.
What do you say, Joe Berry? Well played.
I think he's played it beautifully. The free's there. Tough on Roberts, but you can feel the tackle coming. Berry trots in, drop punt. Makes the goal umpire work. But still through the big sticks. Berry gets his first. Port get the instant response. 7:8:50 Sydney, 4:6:30 into time on in this second term for ABC Sport.
It's been sorry, you go, Jamie.
No, I was going to say something silly, Loz. Yours would be far more.
Look, I was going to pump up Joe Berry and Jordan Sweet. I think Berry's had a really nice purple patch probably the last month, 5 weeks or so, really building into his career in his second year as an AFL player. And Jordan Sweet are coming up against Brodie Grundy. We spoke pre-game. Grundy's in the All-Australian conversation, and Sweet's hits to advantage. And that tap to Butters at the last centre ball up has provided that opportunity for Joe Berry.
That pre-game, what you witnessed and then you're talking about with Port Adelaide 20 points up, can it happen a second time? You might need to talk about that rather than be so convoluted.
Grundy tapped down towards Jordan, who gets it back to his big man. Grundy uses rope on him. This is slick, fast footy. The handball chain from the Swans. Sheldrick to Lloyd, who's barreled into as he kicked towards goal. It wouldn't have had the distance, but it was careless. And a free kick will come back for the Sydney Swans. 35 out. Jordan Sweet's the offender.
Downfield. It's going to be in the goal square.
Oh, that's even more punishing. Logan McDonald's going to get a crack. Top of the goal square for the downfield free kick.
Actually pretty soft by the umpire, isn't it, too, to roll with that. That's just a contest. If you're the coach, you'd be questioning why wouldn't you put the pressure on.
It's a gimme for McDonald as he steps in and slams it into the second tier. Sydney get one back. Margins just 14 again. Swans 5:6:36. Port Adelaide 7:8:50. Time on second term on ABC Sport.
So what did you witness on the hill?
This is the proposal you were talking about?
Well, you need to tell everyone about it.
I was just wondering what you were alluding to because I didn't quite get the vibe you were sending. So there was an early pre-game proposal before the gates were open. So a young couple came in, not sure the name of the fiancé, but Mitzi is the bride-to-be very shortly. Thankfully they said yes. It was a very nice moment. They played a beautiful love song around the ground, and yeah, it was on the big screens and everything. So
and
they had.
What did you tweet after that?
I said one big surprise for tonight. Maybe we might get another.
There we go. Port Adelaide were up by 20 points at that point. Now they're down, or they're still up by 14.
Back in the middle of the ground. Sweet runs through. Grundy just grabs it. He's going to get a free kick for a ruck infringement. Plays on quickly. Sends it inside the forward 50. And Lockie Jones just charges out and takes that one on his chest. Just back from centre-half back. Provided a lot of run tonight. Goes short to Butters.
4 minutes remaining in this second quarter. If you're Port Adelaide, you just want to maintain possession, slow it down. There's no need to score or give away what you've worked so hard for in this quarter.
Farrell took the mark at centre-half back, played on quickly to Richards. He does the same in the middle of the ground. Oh, got past Warner. Goes long up towards the goal square, and there's a hand around him. There's a big arm around Georgiades from Edwards. Umpire says, play on.
It's got to go both ways, I would have thought. That's definitely holding against Georgiades. Will Edwards all over him.
Talk about proposals.
My goodness, they were having their first dance together. Tossed in, Jai Sarong on the bounce, crunched by a hard tackle of Todd Marshall, ball up.
And they've only just met each other.
It's the old days, Jamo.
Port by 14. Sweet takes it out of the ruck, hands it back to Todd Marshall, kicks straight at the belly of the ball, and it went up, and it's bounced nearly through. The Swans players decided to leave it as it dropped on the behind line, and it had nearly the turn of the century. Will be a minor score. It's Port by 15. This game's had a bit of everything.
Makes us do crazy things. But the margin's 15 points, and Port certainly have come to play, really taking it to the Swans.
Butters is trying to throw his weight around against Brodie Grundy.
So Mills up towards centre-half back, finds Wicks. Port Adelaide set up well, so the switch will be on. Over towards Sarong. Kicked the match winner last week. Such dramatic fashion as the Swans stole it against the Saints. Asked to play on, kicks out wide towards the logo on the wing. Sweet in front. Having a game he is. Looks like Logan Evans going to get a free kick anyway.
It's interesting. Logan Evans put a very effective, sneaky little block on for Sweet to take the mark and came out of it with a free kick against Grundy.
So Evans up towards centre-half forward towards Jones. Front on contact there. So he'll get a free kick. Probably got the range here. It was closer to 50. It would take a kick of about 58.
And Lockie Jones's mullet's got smaller, but that moustache has got bigger. He plays his best football off the halfback line.
Oh, the run and gun, having a good game tonight, that's for sure. And he's thinking about this. So the man on the mark will be about 54, 55 out, so he's going to have to kick it 60 metres. Set sail with a drop punt. He's got good contact, but it's marked on the goal line by Grundy. No score. So Port Adelaide is 7-9-51. Swans 5-6-36 late in this second term.
How many times has he done that in his career?
Done very well amongst a flurry of bodies as well, the only product. Grundy plays on and hands it to Blakey. Low stabbing pass that's perfect towards Sarong. He releases Edwards. Thrusts the handball forward to McDonald as he zigs and zags through Logan Evans. Kicks up to half forward for the Swans. Rowbottom caught behind and panicked. Just grabbed Burn Jones. Free kick Port Adelaide.
I've got Burn Jones as one of the best players on the ground right now. Every time he's been anywhere near the footy, he's won the ball.
Inside 45, kick to Drew, and the switch is on. Burgoyne just behind centre wing on the logo. Kicks through the benches up towards Whitlock. Looking for an option up forward. The Swans have a zone in a few holes up ahead.
It's got Sweet.
Lowers the eyes. Rewards the lead of Berry. 2 for out to score still for Port Adelaide. Joe Berry spots something he likes. He'll place it 20 out. Horn Francis is on the march. Just a little too high for his reach. Out the back, Cunningham gets it out for the Swans. Heaney looking wide to Lloyd. He's nudged away from the footy, and Evans keeps tracking with the tackle. Ball shoots out, and a big clothesline with a stray arm. Although there was no whistle on it, so certainly the Swans wanted the free kick, and it was milked for the Oscar there from Roberts, but it will be a stoppage instead.
There's a couple of howlers in here, isn't there?
Some non-calls, that's for sure.
It went up. Jason Horne-Francis knew straight away that the tackle went up. It started on his probably shoulder and then went up to his neck and put his both hands out in the air.
They sort of self-umpired, didn't they? They were sort of stopped. And there was no whistle.
Give me the whistle.
Boundary throw in inside the power 50. Sweet swung 360 play on. Horn Francis is met by a solid tackle there from Brodie Grundy from the ruck contest.
I umpired an internal reserves game at Collingwood once, and I will never, ever umpire again.
Sweet knocks it down towards Whitlock. He couldn't gather. Paddles it towards the boundary line. Tackled by Warner. Trying to score a try out there. Over the line to get it out for a throw-in.
Gemma, I was sitting here thinking exactly the same thing. You would not want to be umpiring this game. He's so challenging.
Cold out there as well. It's tight. It's fast footy. Just been electric all night. Out of the stoppage, Grundy gets it to Jordan off a step, kicks long. Kerno had Radigalia to beat. Ball hits the deck. Clean with hands as McDonald gave it to Rowbottom. Bang! He smashed off the footy and missed the boot as he dropped it. No free kick. Wasn't really a tackle. Play continues. Ball rolls to the centre square. Butters is pulled away from it. Sydney pounce. Wicks towards the 50. Radigalia red at best. McLean caught napping. He gets in front to cut it off. Radigalia heads wide to Burn-Jones. Short pass to Alir at half-back. Port Adelaide lead by 15 points. And Alir's not happy as his opponent didn't really stand the mark well.
Possibly get ready defenders. This might be coming straight back.
So Alir kicks out of defence up towards the wing towards Whitlock. Couldn't complete the mark. That is the half-time siren. And Port Adelaide have come to play at home. They love playing these top teams. And they're serving it up to the Swans. They're 7-9-51. Sydney, 5-6-36.
Goal scorers, all individual as well. So for the Power, Durden, Richards, Cochrane, Sweet, Georgiades, Horn Francis and Berry. For the Swans, Lloyd, Amati, Kerno, Roses and McDonald. It has been a cracking game of footy. They've had a mixed bag through the day. So Melbourne thumping Essendon by 45 points, kicked the first four, never looked back. Plenty of injuries in that as well, which we'll recap very shortly. North Melbourne won a thriller over the Eagles, who had a chance to win it late. Jake Waterman hits the post. And now we're stuck in the middle ground right now, this 15-point margin where Port Adelaide are looking for an upset. We'll see what happens in the second half very shortly. 7-9-51 plays 5-6-36. On the text line tonight, 0437 774 774. A huge shout out to Liam, who's 9 years old with his dad at the moment. They're about to tackle the Rottnest Marathon tomorrow morning, listening off the coast of Rottnest Island. Loving the call and enjoying the bye weekend with the Dockers getting a chance to have a break at the top of the ladder. And they'll be loving this call as well because Sydney lose, then Fremantle gets a hold top spot.
How many laps of Rottnest Island are you going to do? How big is that joint?
Well,
You're dizzy running around there.
It's well, I mean, it's much smaller than Kangaroo Island, but yeah, it's still pretty big if you're doing a marathon around Rottnest Island.
Well, good luck.
Shout out to you, Liam, and your dad as well. And as well on to Dave, who says, bad kicking's bad footy. And that's essentially what's been happening tonight. It's been Port Adelaide's Achilles heel, says Dave, but obviously the Swans were a bit more inaccurate in that term. So Port kicked 3-6 in the first quarter. And in response, Sydney in the second term have gone to 2-3. Or 2-4 rather. So both sides have had their opportunities and at times haven't been able to make the most of them. And as a result, we've got this pretty level playing field. Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell, your experts tonight. I don't think we were anticipating this, but it's been a lot of fun, team.
Yeah, look, it's been all Port Adelaide. They really have the pressure right across the board. They're tackling. It's 23-30 in favour of Sydney. But again, I just think that's the way that Port Adelaide have had the football. This is the real big difference, though, too. They've had 171 disposals to 185 Sydney, but 120 kicks to 51 handballs. So they're covering the ground and they're finding a teammate. They had better composure in that second quarter. Sydney's 88 kicks to 97 handballs. So one, that could be pressure that Port Adelaide are applying. They do like to handball through, but they do like to use the football well, and I don't think Port Adelaide have allowed them to do that.
Yeah, Rod. No, we spoke pre-game around the McInerney being out for them and the form that he's been in and the metres gained that he has. And the reason I mentioned metres gained is, obviously for listeners, it's basically just the chain of possession before you get intercepted. How many metres can you take and gain offensively? And that stat is a direct correlation with a win. There's some stats that don't correlate with wins, like hit-outs, but metres gained does. And Port Adelaide have had less disposals, but 400 more metres gained at half-time, which is a really fantastic indicator, not just for Port against anyone, but Port against Sydney here at Adelaide Oval. While you're losing disposals, if you can force them into that high handball game and bring the pressure that Port did, especially in that second quarter, it's meant that they're up at half-time. And I know that there's been some wasted opportunities, there's been a couple of poor turnovers, but I think with where Port Adelaide is at right now in this season, you couldn't expect them to have played a better half against one of their top two teams.
Just quickly while we're on that, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I love picking your brain, Lauren. What are the other stats that are overrated in terms of what actually impacts
Overrated? I mean, the easy one is for rucks, unfortunately, is the hit-outs. Sometimes it really depends. My head very much is AFLW, so we would always lean into time in front half. That's a big one. In AFL men's in the last couple of years, obviously this year I haven't been at a footy club. I quit my job early Jan, so the numbers may have shifted, but typically they take a number which is basically like your chain metres on defensive half turnover, which has a really weird name. I won't bother trying to tell you because it just becomes confusing, but the valuable ones are the ones we're talking about. So if you can intercept at half back like Port Adelaide typically do through Aaliyah and Radicalea and create chain metres from there and create score from there, that is typically a stat that correlates with a win. And Port Adelaide have done that well this year. They just haven't been able to maximise when they do get the ball in front half. And we spoke pre-game about Sydney shifting the ball and using the width of the ground and going quick. And those chain handballs that Jamo's talking about, that type of footy allows you to find uncontested mark in your front half, particularly when you've got guys like Charlie Curnow, Joel O'Marty, to an extent ahead of the ball. So, yeah, the hit-outs is the easy one to say, nah. Stoppage really depends where the stoppage is won. And I think it was Jamo that spoke about Hawthorn. They would play man behind the ball plus Luke Hodge as the general. And so if you lose stoppage, you just play fast off that and reply from stoppage, so you know where the congestion is and you play around that.
And maintain possession around.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you've got someone like Hodgie in your back half, you're laughing. So stoppage is one that doesn't always correlate with a win. Uncontested possession doesn't always correlate with a win, and hit-outs is the big one, yeah.
And time in possession, again, probably similar. I think it's an indication of how much football you've had. And Port Adelaide 46% to 39 overall in terms of the game, but you know, you get some sides that are actually super efficient and don't need the same time in possession to use the football too, but probably just underpins how well Port Adelaide are going. And then the marks 49 to 32, which clearly is 120 kicks to 88 in favour of Port. Their kick game is better at the moment than what Sydney's is.
We've been saying it a lot locally, and this is why I really like what Josh Carr has been doing. Even though they're 4 and 8, there's key metrics in premiership sides, and Port Adelaide are right in the mix in a lot of them, in particularly points against from turnover. They're defending very well, and their ball movements probably been the problem. They've been down the bottom in terms of D50 to inside 50, but they feel like they're on the right track. It's just they don't have the amount of stars that other teams have had, and they're using a lot of youth. And tonight there's still a lot to play out, but this is a win that really kind of cements that, yes, Port Adelaide is heading the right direction.
I'm still expecting the Swans to play a really strong second half, as we saw against the Saints. I think if you're a Port Adelaide fan, you can smell a win right now, but you also want to see them bring the same level of contest in this second half. If they can do that and get anywhere near the pressure factor that they brought in that second quarter, the win's on the table.
And, context as well. So game home margin was 20. It's currently 15 Port Adelaide's way, but last week in the second quarter, Saints were up 33 and they lost. So Sydney still have plenty more to give.
And when they have shown an ability, they haven't been able to do it too many times tonight, but when they get it going, they just scored so quickly. Like their first 2 goals with Port dominating the game, really hurt against the run of play, and they're just able to go around the corridor. But clearly Port have come with a plan and they've executed it for the first half.
Well, you've got to kick goals and be offensively good, but defences win you big matches and grand finals. And the past 25 years in the men's competition, there was a clear delineation between the better teams, and normally the best defensive team would make the grand final, wouldn't always win. But the last 5 to 6 years, there's been 4 or 5 teams that are super close with the defensive side of the game, and they're the ones that sit in the top 2 or 3 all the time without fail. It doesn't guarantee you a win on the last day. I don't know if that's the same in the women's game, but certainly across the men's, it's always been the defence, but your ability then to go the other way.
We can talk AFLW for as long as you like, Jamo. I think, just to back to the point I was on, I think the tricky part with AFLW is you have a much shorter game. Like, it's 2/3 the length of the men's game, and so the fatigue levels that you see in the back end of quarters in AFL, you don't typically see that in AFLW. It's a faster game, and the lower scoring often is due to the fact that the quarters are so short, and so we would just double down at Port Adelaide. And if you've watched any of the team that I've coached, we very much doubled down on those stats that correlate to wins, which is contested possession and time in front half.
Thoughts of Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamison, your experts tonight. So Port Adelaide kicking 4 goals to 2 in the second quarter, and they increased their quarter time lead from 4 to 15. feels like we're set towards a pretty big second half as well. It's been great to have your company on ABC Local Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen for Saturday footy on ABC Sport. Now, the Cricket World Cup's getting underway tonight. Well, it has. If you want to hear Australia in action, that's from just after 11 Eastern Standard Time, so 11:15. Our coverage with the BBC will start because we're calling every game on ABC Listen through the dedicated Cricket World Cup button. It is underway at the moment, so if you really love your cricket, we're not going to be offended if you want to go hear Scotland and Ireland. Currently, Scotland are 4 for 154 in the 19th over up against Ireland. Those two sides aren't in our group, so the whole field has been split in two. The Aussies arguably have probably the harder side of things, but will come in as one of the favourites, and they will be in action in their first game later tonight against South Africa. Obviously, the FIFA World Cup's happening as well. We've got updates on local radio across the next few weeks. Today, Canada and Bosnia had a draw. Well, the Canadians co-hosts had plenty of chances and probably should have won that one. And in our group, the USA had a big win over Paraguay, 4-1. So they are the favourites to top Group D, which the Aussies are in. But, gee, it was pretty emphatic, that 4-1 victory. The Aussies have Turkey tomorrow. You can hear that, or you can watch that from about 2 Eastern Standard Time. There's plenty of games tomorrow as part of the World Cup as well. We'll give you some feedback and what's been happening with the other games earlier today with Melbourne and North Melbourne winners in the early two. But we'll take a short pause here at the Adelaide Oval and get the latest from the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. The body of a missing 7-year-old girl in Sydney's inner west has been found after a search was launched upon the discovery of her father's body in waters near Concord. Tony Ibrahim has the latest.
The girl and her father rented a boat to sail along Parramatta River this morning. But just before midday, a bystander noticed a body floating in the water near Concord. It was the girl's father, a man in his 40s from Westmead. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The little girl has been missing for most of the day. Police have been searching since the early afternoon. Police say the girl's mother is receiving support at the moment. Detectives are still trying to figure out what exactly happened here today. They say one definite line of inquiry is whether or not this was a case of domestic violence.
The federal Labor government, has continued to brush off rising support for One Nation following a successful week of fundraising for the minor party. Donations to a One Nation fundraising campaign launched on Wednesday are past $3.5 million. Labor frontbencher Chris Bowen says he acknowledges that Australians are looking for change, which is why the government is rolling out reforms through its policies.
One Nation has anger but not answers, has slogans but not solutions. We're providing answers and solutions and real change. Pauline Hanson and Barnaby Joyce have made clear they'll be working with the Liberal Party. If you want a stable government, Anthony Albanese will lead a stable, reforming, changing government.
Workers have started removing President Donald Trump's name from the facade of the Kennedy Centre in Washington, hours after a court-ordered deadline to remove references to Trump from the building and the iconic performing arts venue's operations. Scaffolding has been erected around a section of the building that includes Trump's name after the Kennedy Centre asked a judge to extend the deadline for his name's removal following a delay caused by thunderstorms. Dozens of people spent hours on the plaza in front of the centre taking pictures and cheering occasionally as they broke into chants of "Take it down." Meanwhile, a federal judge in the United States has ordered the Trump administration to restore exhibits and signs about topics including climate change and slavery that it had removed from parks across the country. The BBC's Jonathan Fruin takes up the story.
President Trump signed an executive order in March last year mandating the removal of signs that, as he put it, inappropriately disparage Americans. Items removed included one about Indigenous Americans at Acadia National Park in Maine. The judge, Angel Kelly, issued an injunction requested by groups representing park conservationists and historians who had argued there was a campaign by the administration to erase history and undermine science. Ms. Kelly, who was appointed by the former Democratic President Joe Biden, ordered the restoration of the signs by the 250th anniversary of US independence on July the 4th. A spokeswoman for the Interior Department indicated the administration could appeal the ruling.
Elon Musk's SpaceX has rocketed in value after floating on the US stock market, gaining almost 20% in the first day of trading. That makes the company worth around $2.5 trillion. The valuation makes Musk the Earth's first trillionaire, which is enough money to give all 8.2 billion people in the world around $173. Personal finance analyst Mikey Curry says people are buying into Elon Musk and the vision he paints for the future and not the underlying fundamentals of SpaceX.
In fact, when SpaceX pulled back the curtain on its finances, a lot of people were taken aback. The company's space business was generating less revenue than expected. The AI unit has surprisingly large losses. So we should probably proceed with caution.
The Sport and the Socceroos will take on Turkey in the Canadian city of Vancouver tomorrow afternoon Australian time in their opening group match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Patricia Tiano has this preview.
A day out from the clash, Turkish captain Hakan Çalhanoğlu says he expects his team to dominate the game, as they are more talented. It's a sentiment not unfamiliar to Socceroos coach Tony Popovic, who's long said he believes the current team can achieve something special. 2 decades on from Australia's golden generation, the Socceroos are now in their 6th straight World Cup. They've never made it beyond the first knockout stage, but remain ambitious. Both nations are in the same group as the United States and Paraguay, with the US scoring a resounding 4-1 win over the South American side in their first group match.
This is ABC News.
In the days of the British Empire, things were taken.
So let's go find them. If you could dig it up, you could take it home.
Join me, Mark Fennell, on a brand new global hunt.
Stuff the British stole. Streaming now on ABC iView.
This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
Gives it off to Lachie Jones, blazes into the 50, and Georgiades uses the body on Edwards to take a sliding mark to his left in front of the scoreboard. Set shot, 20 out, 45 to the right. Looking to keep his goal-kicking streak alive. 34 straight games. Starts all the way back at 48 out. Mitch Georgiades with a long approach, drives it hard and home. First of the night for Mitch Georgiades. 35 games in a row, he's kicked a major, and Port's up by 8.
Mills Roves, handballs to Heaney, their superstar, took on the tackle of Burgoyne, and it's going to be a lasso free kick because of the pressure. It's the target of Marshall, centre half forward, rolls around, looking for the target of Cochrane inside the forward 50, hits him on the chest, 30 out on a tough angle to the right. Tom Cochrane from the pocket. He likes the harder ones, does Tommy.
Whitlock rises and taps it straight to Richards. It was a beautiful set play, and the Swans panicked. Edwards tackled him before the footy reached him. And a set shot to come off the free kick for Joe Richards, straight in front, 35 out. Joe Richards, straight and hard, through the big sticks. Port Adelaide with 3 unanswered goals in the second term. Sent it inside 50 for the Swans. Amati 2 to beat and brought down. Ram wasn't looking at the footy. And as a result, a free kick goes the way of Joel Amati. 10 out, tight angle to the left.
I appreciate the Port fans won't be happy about it, but it's absolutely there.
So Joel Amati takes a step, snaps across the body and gets the Swans their first major of the second.
Forward handball to Berry, just missed the target. He was tackled without it. Georgiades gathered and the umpire saw it. Makes the goal umpire work, but still through the big sticks. Berry gets his first.
Sheldrick to Lloyd, who's barrelled into as he kicked towards goal. It's a gimme for McDonald as he steps in and slams it into the second tier.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
It's been high-octane, flat-chat, frenetic footy between Port Adelaide and Sydney, and it's been a ripper as well. The Power eyeing off a surprise upset. They are leading 7-9-51 to the Swans 5-6-36. So a 15-point margin at half-time. After leading by 4 at the first change, they were very inaccurate early. They got plenty of chances in the second and cashed in on those. And the Swans just looking a little bit off tonight when the pressure does build. But they've still got the star power to be able to get it done. We did have a text coming in on 0437 774 774 wondering about their injury list and if that's playing a factor. So no Tom McCartan tonight, Justin McInerney out as well, Lewis Milliken's unavailable, Tom Papley. So there's a few names there that can still come back into this team, but think it's been Port Adelaide's effort that's certainly been able to make it a ripping game here at the Adelaide Oval. Decent crowd as well on a cold night. Aaron Bryans and Tom Wilson calling the action for you, alongside premiership players Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell. Wade and Bendigo on the text line also says in the last 10 games, Sydney averages 8.5 goals in second halves, while having an average of 4.6 scored against them.
Well done.
They've been mostly soft starters and hard finishes, so Wade's all over it. He knows that the Swans have the fight back in them, as they did last week against St Kilda. We'll see if they can deliver it on the road here tonight. Earlier today, Melbourne defeating Essendon by 45 points. So as it stands right now, they will finish the round in fourth because the Hawks have a bye. Crows have already played, so they will be fourth for the first time since round 8. They kicked the first 4 goals, went on to win it all by 45. Max Gawn got the 3 votes in the ABC Sport Footballer of the Year with 24 touches and 2 goals. Keziah Pickett just pipped 32 touches and 3 goals of his own for the 2 votes, and Colton Tolstrup got the 1 vote as well. Plenty of injuries. So Archie Roberts dislocated his shoulder trying to tackle Keziah Pickett. That looked really bad. Harvey Langford hurt his quad, and the debutant out of Woodville West Torrens, Lucas Cook, had a clash with Mackay and hurt his cheekbone, so that's a bit of a sad one. And Harrison Petty hurt his hamstring right at the death. The game was almost over, and he pinged it late, so that's sad for him. Middle game at Perth Stadium, which was sold by North Melbourne to West Coast. It was the Roos home game on the road, and they won it by a point. Arguably shouldn't have. West Coast had a set shot late through Jake Waterman in the last 90 seconds. He was 30 out, hit the post. Roos hang on. Nick Larkey and Jack Darling with 4 goals each. Harry Sheasel had 32 touches and a goal as well, and Davis subbed out with concussion. Back underway here, third quarter. Port Adelaide by 15 over the Swans. Here's Tom Wilson on ABC Sport.
Chad Warner immediately tackled by Drew. Ball's in dispute. Drew gathers. Handballs to Sweet. He shrugs a tackle. Steps inside Jordan. Underground handball towards Horn Francis. He was taken high, and the umpire saw that one. So we'll have a free kick. 80 from goal.
Almost goated each other then in the middle. Then too, Sweet and Grundy. They both come flying in and then stopped.
Horn Francis kicks to the pocket, and read best there by Sarong at right half back. So switches the play to the goal square. Blakey marks last line of defence, and he'll flick it back in that direction.
Stop start for Sydney in the early stages here. Mills actually calls for his teammates to just move. No one's really presenting, so he has to just send it sky up towards right half back. Flying his bice, fist comes in. Chai Sarong read it best. Gathers and hits a spiral up through the centre logo on the eastern side. Rowbottom beaten in the air by Farrell. He takes it, blazes away, kicks long towards the 50, and Hamlin gets in front of Whitlock to cut it off.
Hamlin coming in from the VFL has been exceptional. Whitlock can't get a look at a ball inside 50. He needs to start more front position on Hamlin to have a shot at it.
Experience paying off there. So handball, Mills to Heaney, back to Heaney, to Mills, to Heaney. He kicks up towards centre half forward. Asava Radigalia nursed under the footy by Charlie Curnow. 55 from goal. He's got McDonald working back, and he hits the target. Takes the mark. 35 metres out in a 45-degree angle in front of the scoreboard.
That's when Sydney are at their best, isn't it, too? Just out of nothing. Heaney running past the man on the mark. And then, as you called it, Tom, just kept running the handball. Then his second one went over his head into the middle of the ground and then got it back once again, which created the space up forward for Sydney at centre forward. And then here we are now in the pocket.
So he kicked the last goal of the match late in that second term. That was from the top of the goal square. Need a better effort from here. One goes across the face of goal. Doesn't even make the journey. Radaglia could have marked it. Plays it safe and rushes it through for a minor score. The first of the second half. Sydney 5-7-37. Port 7-9-51.
Farrell directing traffic in the defensive goal square. Heads to right half back. Looking for Radaglia. 2 to beat and nearly plucked it. Just a late fumble and it rolls over the boundary line. Right half back for the Power. Just joined us, Port by 4 at the first change. Now by 15, we've had 2 lead changes, but been a pretty tight affair. Joe Richards, the best of the Power players, with 14 touches and a goal. Sydney, Callum Mills has 20 and Heaney with 17. No injuries so far either. Tossed in, Sweet takes it out of the ruck and pushes off Brodie Grundy with ease. Kicks a wobbler up through centre wing broadcast side. Whitlock makes a contest, comes down and it's volleyed out of there by Cochrane. Rolls its way to the 50. Sarong again, scouted it, but his exiting kick is no good. Gave it straight back to Jack Whitlock. Attacking edge of the square.
They've done that uncharacteristically probably 3 or 4 times tonight, Sydney.
Whitlock sets it up. 4-on-4. Edwards with the fist at the back for the Swans and knocked it straight to Wicks, who gives it to Bice. Roberts around the body, rushed his kick. It was an awkward bounce for Mills and it nutmegged him in the end. Whitlock takes it at the back and tried to hand it to Horne-Francis. Tried to barrel his way through 2. Couldn't quite control the footy. Richards gets it to Sweet, tackled. Didn't dispose of it cleanly. Free kick Sydney at half back to Nick Blakey. They're down 14 at the moment.
This is where they get their mojo from.
A dangerous 45 kick into the middle of the ground. Farrell read it best. Swans players are there to rove, though. They've got the numbers through. Rowbottom in the middle of the ground over the top to Cleary at centre half forward. He plays on quickly, looking for McDonald. Marks in a better position there on Ram. And he's 20 metres closer than before on the same angle in front of the scoreboard.
This is what you were talking about, Loz, too. You just know and anticipate that Sydney are that good a team. They will come back at you. Just trying to create something and generate with that extra handball, or, and as you called it, Tom, that dangerous kick on the 45 into the middle of the ground.
4 Port players converged. They just didn't take possession. And it meant that Swans had the outnumber. They got it forward to McDonald. 45-degree angle. Barely 20 metres out. He lopes in, does Logan McDonald. And he slots it. That's his second for the night. Back-to-back for McDonald. And the Swans get it back to 8 points. They're 6-7-43. Port 7-9-51. 5 gone in this third term for ABC Sport.
Well, Jamo, it's just the start we could have expected from Sydney in this third quarter. And one notable stat, as we talked about at half-time, Sydney have controlled the footy already in this third quarter. 9 marks to 1 from Port Adelaide, and just a demonstration of how clean and efficient the Swans have been already and created these scoring opportunities. Harry Ram, he's playing his second game at AFL footy. He's been beaten in the air twice already in this quarter, and plenty of learning ahead for him.
Hopefully they'll kick the footy more too, which they are at this quarter. 14 kicks, 7 handballs, and gone inside 50 on 2 occasions.
Port by 8. James Jordan with Jason Horne-Francis at the moment. Chad Warner against Zach Butters. Grundy wins it down. Jordan first to the footy. Couldn't control it. Heaney can. Gets it out to Grundy. Warner takes on the tackle of Farrell. Gets a handball clear, but gave it away to Burne-Jones. He does the same straight back. Cleary to Jordan. Tackled as he rolls the kick. 20 from home. And Marty left the footy behind trying to draw the free. Radicalier didn't commit to the tackle. Now he goes again. And Asaba gets him. Missed the boot. Play continues. Kerno with the tackle on McKinlay. Ball up to come. 35 out for the Swans.
It's almost they've changed jumpers in this third quarter.
Grundy wins it down. Awkward bounce for Butters, who ran past the footy. Sweet goes back, gets the handball straight up and down. Fist comes from Drew forward. Burgoyne fumbles, tries to knock one out. Buried through the head back and catches the high tackle of Chad Warner. Free kick Port Adelaide. And Zach Butters is getting stuck into every man and his dog tonight. There might be a few extra fines coming his way to his already expensive bank account.
So Radicalier. Short to Farrell, to Richards at centre half back. Port leading by 8 points. Logan McDonald with the only goal of the third term. Another short kick to Burne-Jones. Now the 45 kick is on to Jones. He can go another 45 kick to Horne-Francis, who marks it right half forward. That's inside the paint of the 50. He's got the journey, but lowers the eyes and finds Bammett 45 out, 45-degree angle.
Really clever build-up from Port Adelaide. We just mentioned after the Logan McDonald goal of how many marks that Sydney had taken, and Port really hadn't had a look at possession, but such a patient, short kick, build-up and just waiting for that run from Lachie Jones again. The third time he's had a score involvement chain where he's been able to be pretty brave with his dash coming out of the back half and get involved.
So he's had a sider. He's on the scoreboard, but he hasn't got a goal. The mid-season draft pick, Xavier Bammett, with the drop punt. The crowd's rising. Get around, Bam Bam. He's first in senior footy. He steps in and X marks the spot. Port get there first to the third. 8-9-57. Sydney 6-7-43.
I don't know how many times you see this with Port Adelaide, but they've got 8 goals and 8 individual goal scorers too.
And an awesome sign as well, given Horne-Francis was absolutely in range, and if you're sitting in the coach's box and you're coaching Horn Francis, you're probably encouraging him to take that shot, and Bammett had the easy lead, and just the unselfishness and team play from Horn Francis to give to Bammett the first gamer, and you got to love that. No matter which team you support, seeing a debutant kick their first goal in their first game and all of their teammates getting around them, absolutely love to see it.
First quarter, inside 50s, 18 Port Adelaide for a return of 3-6. In the second quarter, they went inside only on 10 occasions, but kicked 4 goal 3.
Port by 14 at the moment. Sweet out of the ruck, caught one below the belt, I think, and he's decided to tow it forward. Sydney were waiting, trying to get the counter punch. Huge hip and shoulder as Lockie Jones sends Caden Cleary into the next suburb. He's out on the parade. Kick forward by Port Adelaide, and Drew's battling one-on-one with Sarong. It's knocked over the boundary line.
Someone in Bankstown doesn't know where that is.
That's out in Norwood.
About 2 k's from here.
If you want to learn where it is, come to Gatherround for the next 3 years.
It's where they normally play their games.
Port by 14. I reckon it actually might have been a finger for Jordan Sweet as he shakes it off but keeps going. He's up against Grundy. The Swans ruck wins out but taps it straight back to the boundary line. We'll try one more time. Text line tonight 0437 774 774.
So boundary thrown out of sight of the ground. It's forward of the logo for the Power. Back out to a 14-point margin. Sweet knocks it down. McKinley's set up well. Handballs to Wines. He's get a quick kick inside that forward 50 looking for Marshall. Couldn't get a clear run of the ball. Roving in the back was Burgoyne, dropped it. Plenty of Swans back there. Edwards to Wicks. He's under a bit of pressure. Kicks towards centre half back. Burn Jones brings it to ground. Rode by Butters. That was clean to Burn Jones. Now Evans towards Cochrane, who slipped, but Wicks gets across the spoil anyway, and we'll have a throw in the right forward pocket for the Power.
That's as good a ground ball and give as you'll ever see from Zach Butters. Such quick hands. Another opportunity. Forward 50 stoppage for Port Adelaide.
Threw himself in and still managed to get a slick delivery. He's very, very good, and that's why he's got a high price. Tossed in. Sweet from behind wins it down. Only found Sheldrick. He tried to leave the footy behind and win the free kick. Swans get it anyway. Grundy's handball long. Burgoyne waiting for it. Port Adelaide now through Drew. Chips it in. Marshall juggled. Couldn't take it. Gathers on the bounce though. Tried to hand it to Mead. Under a bit of pressure. There are Swans everywhere at the moment. Jordan now collapsing to the footy. We'll get a ball up. 40 out. Port's 50. It's just a sea of red right now as the Swans try to get out of jail. Grundy down, straight to Drew, spins through Edwards, hands it out, and Pavitt kicked the turf as he went for goal. Ball still in play. Butters will get a crack as he gets handed the footy and misses across the face. Just a rush of blood out on the full.
Those are the situations where your eyes just light up if you're Bammett. Too good to be true.
I wonder what happened. Was he button mashing? He was ready to load that up. Just dropped the footy. Been a special moment.
Zach Butters might have called for it. He goes, I bet a handball.
So Cunningham goes to Sarong. And he kicks out of defence up towards Edwards. Mismatch on Butters.
Sorry, I thought Butters actually took off before the umpire said play on, which would have been 50.
Edwards long down the line. Up towards McDonald on Ram, who brought it to ground. Rode by Rowbottom. Slick handball to Warner. He pumps it long inside the forward 50. Curno's in the pocket. That was perfectly placed right up against the paint of the boundary line next to the behind post in front of the scoreboard.
Sydney just getting their structure done exceptionally well. That long down the line ball and the run at the back of the pack. Ball gets through. Port Adelaide got sucked inside, couldn't defend it.
So Curno's going to run around on the left here and snap. He's got no angle to work with at the moment. So that's why
gets these ones and misses the easy ones.
On the left, Charlie Curnow. Well called, Rod Jamison. Snaps it through for his second. Big response from the Swans. They needed that. 7-7-49. Port 8-9-57. 12.5 gone in this third term for ABC Sport.
They've kicked their 7 goals. I'm going to say maybe 3 or 4 of those are they've received where they've actually moved the football that quickly that they've given it to their forwards at the back. And it's made it hard. So Port Adelaide have stood in front of their opponents to put the pressure on and not allow them to lead forward. And they've been able to kick it over the back to their teammate to have a shot on goal.
And it was Rowbottom that was clean at ground level on that long down the line kick, and the release to Chad Warner. And as you called it, guys, spot on kick right on that boundary line. Warner's getting going 3 possessions in this third quarter already.
They might be the best team to watch when they're counter-attacking. They're just so fast and slick. But they haven't been perfect tonight. Port by 8 at the moment. Whitlock down. Wines trying to win the footy. Quickly tackled by Warner. He's caressed just outside the centre circle. Try one more time. McLean doing battle at the moment. Wins it against Whitlock, but tapped it straight to Wines. Tried to give it to the stand-in ruck, Whitlock. He gives it away under pressure. Towards the 50 from McLean. Kerno put it down against Radaglia. Roses tackles Evans. Ball shoots to McDonald. Can't control it. Radaglia just walks through the tackle of Lloyd, but gave it straight to Warner. Tries to kick to the empty goal square. Didn't have enough carry, and Radaglia will track it down. That's Alia, rather, as he kicks up to left half back. Said Radaglia too many times tonight, and he kicked it up straight towards Bice. So Port just keep giving it back to the Swans just outside the 50. And another 15-metre penalty. So Bice looked like he was about to take his kick. Bammett thought the umpire called played on and ran straight towards him. And the stand rule will strike. Xavier Bammett looks to the skies and curses to the heavens. It will be a set shot for Riley Bice at a close angle.
Right intent, wasn't it, too? He just wanted to apply the pressure and just got a shot of his face.
And the game is well and truly on now. Bice curls it around the body. 2 points is the margin. Sydney 8-7-55. Port Adelaide 8-9-57. 14 played. Third term on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell.
It was good leadership from Ollie Wines, and Todd Marshall went straight to Bammett. I guess you could say it's an innocent mistake, but at this level you can't be making those, even if it is your debut game. And the Swans have all the momentum. They've been able to control the footy. They've been direct. Bit of a sucker kick from Alia. Bice getting on the end of that one. Port just have to be able to reset now. The centre ball up's been working for them tonight. But their back half offence, Sydney have done a much better job of squashing the ball in their front half in this third quarter.
Warner and Heaney starting to get more of the football in the middle of the ground.
So Whitlock and McLean. Whitlock gathers, handballs forward. Horn Francis taken without a play on, says the umpire. Sheldrick, he was clean to Warner to Heaney. The Stars are lining up. Kicks out towards right half forward. Lockie Jones leads the race in front of Cleary. Not sure how he got rid of it. Play on, says the umpire. Cleary to Lloyd. Couldn't complete his kick. And Ovens takes it out over the boundary line for Port at left half back. So under pressure here, the Power. A 15-point lead. And the umpires are getting plenty of feedback on the big screen from some Power players. Fans of all varieties.
Standing up out of their seat.
Very colourful. Knocked out of the ruck by McLean towards Warner, and he was tackled without it. He's about to take possession, and his opponent tackled him. I think it was Wines there, and holding the man free kick every day of the week. Kicks up towards Heaney in the pocket, who disposed of his opponent pretty easily. Such a star. Just shoved Mead out the way. He marks 35 out. Tight angle on the right.
Just such a talent, isn't he, Isaac Heaney?
So 35 out. He's also going to do the Charlie Curnow here. Run around on his left. Absolute superstar of the competition. And this is to put the Swans in front. Snaps around the body. And boy, oh boy, Isaac Heaney delivers a big goal for the Swans and puts them back in front for the first time since halfway through the first term. They're 9-7-61, Port 8-9-57, 17 gone third term.
It's hard not to like watching the best of the Swans, isn't it? Heaney's an absolute star. The kick to his advantage was just as good, but Chad Warner had a bit of a quiet first half. From memory, maybe only the 9 disposals in that first half. He's had 6 already to start the third quarter. Sarong's had a massive impact with 5. Heaney's had 5, and that means disposal counts +9 in Sydney's favour and +8 marks. They've just been electric, and Port Adelaide need to find a way to slow this game down just for a small portion of time, get it back on their terms.
15 points up, Port Adelaide at half-time, and still with just under 9 minutes remaining, they've kicked 4 goals. in this third quarter, Sydney.
5 of the last 6 as well, either side of half-time. Sydney on a roll right now. Can the power respond? McLean with a double tap overhead looking for Sheldrick. Richards got there first, tried to reel it in, ended up paddling it to Sheldrick, who hands it to Heaney. Hospital one to McLean, left it behind. Sheldrick barreling through like a bulldozer, knocked it towards Jordan. Drew gets there on hands and knees as he's ripped in the alligator tackle, got boot to ball over his head like a bicycle kick. Port tried to move it through the centre square. Mead knocking it to Marshall. He's knocked away from the ball. Sheldrick with 3 to beat gets a handball over the top to Jordan for the Swans. It's just pinballing between the two sides. Port will get the territory. Winds to Richards as he bangs it long. Georgiades racing out of the 50. Clean take. Shakes off his defender. The overlap of Durden, who reels it in with one arm. And they will pay the mark. It was knocked out late, but Corey Durden will get the set shot. 10 out. Mitch Georgiades with the fancy footwork and well placed to hit Corey Durden in the pocket.
If you were umpiring then, Loz, are you calling play on?
No, that's a mark. That's a mark.
He had momentum back with the fly.
Oh, stop it. He looked like he was off.
So 45-degree angle to the left. Corey Durden down on the marks, about 10 out. Already has one on the night. Looking for his 20th of the year in his new colours. Durden comes in. Easy finish. And the lead changes hands again. Port by 2. 9-9-63 plays 9-7-61 as we approach time on in the third term. Lauren Arnell and Rod Jamieson, your experts for Saturday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, it was a good call, as there's a fair few turnovers in that play. It was sort of bouncing around like a pinball, and let's not miss the fact that Joe Richards has gone back inside and they won that centre clearance. Georgiades, really nice, patient play, trusting his speed. But Richards is having such an important hand in this game. Jordan Sweet starting to get more involved. I mentioned they needed to slow the game down, but maybe they just need to meet the pace of Sydney.
Sweet back in the ruck in that contest as well. So Port by 2 points. Get the response they much desired. Sweet knocks it down towards Butters. Wrapped up immediately by Jordan. And we'll have another ball up near the centre circle. Umpire wastes no time. Grundy throws Sweet out the way. Horn Francis just bursts through. Gets it to Mead. Kicks it inside the forward 50. Flying was Georgiades. Couldn't complete the mark. Probably stole that one maybe off Whitlock. Lays a tackle. And we'll have a ball up 35 from goal.
Poor Jack Whitlock needs one as well. Just hasn't touched the footy much. 1 point last week off the 4 possessions. Sweet with a double fist forward out of the stoppage. Georgiades was the second of the contest as he wraps up Hamling to the ground. Another ball up to come.
Butters had a golden run at that too.
25 out for Port Adelaide. Sweet again. Pounds it forward with a slap. Mitch Georgiades had one arm pinned, managed to trap the footy with the other and tried to kick towards goal. It's a minor score to the left and he's not happy with the officiating. Will be a minor score and Port lead by 3.
1 goal 3, Mitch Georgiades.
Amazing strength there from Georgiades. Blakey brings it out for the Swans. Finds Mills at left half back. Short to Roberts. Got some run of Wicks. Takes a bounce at centre half back. Runs through 2 power plays. Kicks up high towards Cleary. Runs under the footy. Amadi's out the back. Grabs this one in front of Ram. Takes his time. Tries to ride the tackle. And rammed him. Big Harry.
Great job.
Needed a moment, did Big Harry Ram. He's had one. Holding the ball against Amadi.
He had time to get rid of it as well. He had all the time.
Disposal's been the problem, but this one looks pretty good. Down the line, nice and safe. Burgoyne flies through his mitts. Hollywood handball, though, from Sweet over his head to Cochrane. Tried to check it into the 50 to Georgiades, too low. Burgoyne follows up, hands it to Butters, shakes off Heaney, and snaps it through for 20. And he marches on towards the eastern side. Butters loved that one. Who says he can't kick goals? Port by 9. Time on third term. 10-10-70 plays 9-7-61 on ABC Sport.
Full credit goes to that goal, Harrison Ram. What a tackle on Amadi when it looked like the Swans had all the momentum. And just the good enough kick to get it down the line, and great wing craft from Jace Burgoyne. Jordan Sweet, he called it the Hollywood handball. That was impressive. He knew where his teammate was, and Zach Butters, he has spent a little bit of time forward tonight. He'd be pretty happy to be getting on the end of one in this third quarter. It's such an important time in this game.
How many times Isaac Heaney, we've called him when he burns off players, manoeuvres through, kicks a goal, but on the other side of it then too, Zach Butters just arched his back. Heaney couldn't go with him.
So Port, back-to-back goals, back out to a 9-point margin. Warner with the clearance on the left boot up towards centre-half forward. Roses couldn't complete the mark. Burn-Jones got the footy. Kicks it towards the boundary line. Richards is going to try and keep it in. Lasso free kick. So right in front of the power bench. Blakey has the footy.
The Lizard.
The Lizard. Probably the most unique built athlete or superstar athlete I've ever seen, Jamo. Picks up long down the line towards Curnow, punched away by Aaliyah. And we'll have a throw in about 80 metres around from Sydney's goal. They trail by 9 points.
His father, John Blakey, was it Kangaroos? Used to call him Blakey Burger.
Family's just riddled with nicknames. Yeah. Tossed in. Grundy down, only found Wines. Fumbled, though, under the pressure of Heaney. Blakey in there as well. Grundy tries to buff at the footy. Horn Francis wraps up. Blakey wins. Rips the footy away and hands it to Bice. Sydney inside 50 and on the march. McLean sticks it up against Ram. It was a really hard contested grab. Ram was right amongst him. And Hayden McLean continues to show his chops amongst the superstar lineup of forwards.
That is a heavenly kick from Riley Bice, and the hands out in front at full tilt from Hayden McLean. That's just good footy from the Swans.
A defender cannot do any more than what Harry Ram did then.
Good footy.
9 straight for the year for Hayden McLean. Starts at left half forward. Man on the marks, 30 out. McLean sets sail. This is not a chance. His record will stay unblemished because it's carried all the way to the scoreboard. Still in play as it's knocked down. McDonald tries to get a handball away, but his pocket was picked. Farrell thumps it out of there. Grundy's sitting back for the Swans. Knocked it to Heaney. They might get another crack here. Handball wide to Sarong. High entry into the 50. Rose is trying to march. McLean again goes at it. Couldn't take the mark, but gets the free kick. Hayden McLean gets a second chance, and this one's a much better angle, straight in front, 30 out. Just had a late arm over the shoulder from Harry Ram.
It's just a contest, isn't it, really? That's just, you've got to let it go. He's gone to spoil, had 2 hands in the air, and his right arm has come across McLean's left shoulder.
Let's try this again. He's still 9-0 in front of goal. Hayden McLean crosses the paint of 50. Will kick from 35, and this time he ruins his record. Misses to the right, minor score. It is Port by 8 in the late stages of the third.
He's almost put that out on the full. There's only another 3 or 4 foot to the right. He's missed a lot.
Logan Evans for the power. Plays on from fullback. Sends it long, up towards Whitlock.
And a free kick in the centre square. Joe Richards just a little careless over the shoulder of Hamling. Pops up and releases. Blakey running by. Kick towards the 50, but Rose is caught behind. Wasn't happy with it either. Burn-Jones gets the intercept. Short pass to Joe Richards.
He's having an outstanding game, Darcy Burn-Jones. He's up to the 19 disposals, leading Port Adelaide, and has not been beaten a single time in 3 quarters of footy.
Look at that bullet ball there from Farrell to Butters in the middle of the ground. Quick handball to Evans. Pumps it in long to a one-on-one. Georgiades just jumped under the footy. Roving at the back is Berry. Couldn't complete. The ball dives on top of it. Is he going to win a free? Contact below the knees. Wow. Jeez. Is he the only bloke that wants the footy? I mean, come on. So,
constructive criticism from the crowd.
To the letter of the law, it is the right decision, so that's how we'll play. Kick down the line. Roses was wrapped up in a tackle by Ram again.
Has the big man gone forward, has he?
He's certainly his best strength tonight.
There's plenty of him, but as he got the range here, he's a good 65 out. He'll place it into the left forward pocket. Couple of swans flew. Edwards out the back off hands, can clear it for them. The 8th gamer towards McLean. He caught in the sandwich, buffeted over a player, but he was shoved into it first. Crowd have read off there. Butters with a short kick. Burgoyne gets the mark anyway at left half forward. They're riding every umpiring decision and non-decision right now. The Power faithful. Burgoyne back towards the 50 for Port Adelaide. A little long, and Mills cuts it off in the right back pocket. It is Port by 8. Sydney hit the front in the third quarter after the Power led for the majority of the game. It's going to be a close one, you feel like, at the Adelaide Oval.
Both benches have got cards up, under 2 minutes remaining.
Strong grab there from McLean. Worked Ram under the footy. So he kicks long down the line, outer side of the ground. Curnow at the front, got a hand to it. Butters gathered, flicked the handball wider to Logan Evans, short to Jace Burgoyne. Asked to play on, wasn't very far, so he goes all the way back to Butters. Took it on the bounce. And they go into the D50 through Farrell. Switches completely on to Sweet. So he's at right half back. Minute to go in this third term. He's got Bammett working for him short. Horne-Francis as well. And he's going to go long. Towards the logo, 3-on-3. Grundy's the big man. Goes to ground. Mead gathers with the handball towards Bammett. Keeps it in. Runs around on his left. Kicks up towards Horne-Francis, who takes a strong mark. 65 and goal. Turns, kicks. Finds Berry. 35 out directly in front.
James Jordan just had to take that contest too. Jason Horne-Francis overhead. The kick sat up a little bit too, and Jordan got there but missed the ball completely, allowing Port Adelaide to turn around.
How quick did Horne-Francis just move the ball, Oz?
He's so good in the front half. You'd love to be leading up at him at any point in time.
So Berry, siren's going to sound as he kicks here. Big moment in this game. Berry on the three-quarter time siren. Drop punt away to the left. So an opportunity to push that back out to a 14-point margin. Missed. 10-11-71 Port Adelaide. 9-8-62 here at three-quarter time.
Just 9 points separating these two sides who are at opposite ends of the ladder but playing for so much. Port still feel like the wildcard dream is alive, and Sydney could move to top spot with a victory. 10-11-71 to 9-8-62. Goal scorers for the Power, 2 to Durden, singles to Berry, Butters, Horne-Francis, Georgiades, Sweet, Cochrane, Richards and Bammett. And for the Swans, 2 to McDonald and Curnow, singles to Heaney, Roses, Bice, Amati and Lloyd. Do not go anywhere. It's been a fun day of footy, and we're going to cap it off with a classic. It is Port Adelaide by 9 at three-quarter time on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital. This is Saturday Footy on ABC Sport.
Meet the builder of dreams.
It's a great honour to be leading Tasmania's new football club.
Sam Pang's brand new office comedy, Ground Up.
Time to make a little history.
Ground Up. Stream now on ABC iView. This is the 2026 AFL Premiership season with ABC Sport.
In the middle of the ground, over the top to Cleary at centre half forward. He plays on quickly, looking for McDonald. Mark in a better position there on Ram. And he's 20 metres closer than before on the same angle in front of the scoreboard. He lopes in, does Logan McDonald. And he slots it. That's his second for the night. Back-to-back for McDonald to Horne-Francis, who marks it right half forward. That's inside the paint of the 50. He's got the journey, but lowers the yards and finds Bammett 45 out, 45-degree angle. The mid-season draft pick, Xavier Bammett, with the drop punt. The crowd's rising. Get around, Bam Bam! He's first in senior footy. He puffs it long inside the forward 50. Curnow's in the pocket. That was perfectly placed right up against the paint of the boundary line next to the behind post.
Gets these ones and misses the easy ones.
On the left, Charlie Curnow. Well called, Rod Jamison. Snaps it through for his second.
Georgiades racing out of the 50. Clean take. Shakes off his defender. The overlap of Durden. Reels it in with one arm. And they will pay the mark. Durden comes in, Easy finish.
Grabs this one in front of Ram, takes his time, tries to ride the tackle, and rammed him. Big Harry.
Great job.
Burgoyne follows up, hands it to Butters, shapes off Eady, and snaps it through for 20. And he marches on towards the eastern side. Butters loved that one.
The AFL on ABC Sport.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
What a gift it is to be a South Australian footy fan in 2026. We have had 8 single-digit margins at the Adelaide Oval this year, and it feels like we could have a 9th tonight. It is Port Adelaide by 9 against the Sydney Swans as Sydney play for top spot, and the Power hope to keep their finals hopes alive. Great to have your company for it in this seesawing affair. 4 lead changes. Margins only got as high as 20. It's going to be a thrilling finish on ABC Sport. A reminder later tonight as well, the Women's T20 World Cup, which started earlier today, will continue with Australia's first matchup in their group against South Africa at Old Trafford. You can hear it on ABC Listen as you can with every game, including the one that's live right now between Scotland and Ireland, through the dedicated Cricket World Cup button on ABC Listen. So Australia and South Africa from 11:15 Eastern Standard Time tonight. Earlier today, the D's over the Bombers by 45 and the Roos just held off the Eagles by a point. Port Adelaide by 9. Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell. What are we set for here?
I'm thoroughly distracted, if I'm really honest. There's a tyre sponsor from Port Adelaide who've got this elite three-quarter time exhibition going on. They've got like these massive blow-up fake tyres.
It's like a hamster wheel.
And there's like 2 people in each tyre racing each other like mice on a wheel. I'm sorry. This is going to be a great last quarter. At least as entertaining as this. What's happening in front of us at three-quarter time. I think what I love from Sydney is they've got the firepower, right? We know that they can kick goals. We know that they execute well under pressure. And we know that their midfielders will hunt for this whole last quarter. And we saw particularly Chad Warner and Isaac Heaney step up in the third. For me, I loved the punch back from Port Adelaide. And even Jordan Sweet, someone who doesn't always execute well in the closing moments of quarters, but his mark and his ability to get back and help in defence when it was essentially red time in that third, set up the final scoring shot for Joe Berry. Jamo, I reckon it's going to be pretty close, and I'm expecting both teams to win have to just keep going at it. You can't slow down now.
Well, I think that's the closest quarter out of the 3. The metrics are all really similar. I think when Port Adelaide had gone forward, Sydney had been able to mark. And in the forward 50 for Port, they took 4 marks, but Sydney took 10. So again, the ability to lower the eyes, find the right player or the decision to be able to hit up their target. And the uncontested 18-10 in favour of Sydney in the back half. So the defence of Sydney really holding up, particularly under siege in that first half. That third quarter, it was a bit of each way.
Here we go. Grandstand finish coming your way on ABC Sport. Port by 9 after leading by 15 at the half. 4 at quarter time, but the Swans won't quit. They managed to snatch the lead late against the Saints last week, and they got them at the death to win by 2. Is it going to be the best form of deja vu for Dean Cox's men? Or can Josh Carr really get that big scalp they've been so close to getting through the year? Knocked off Geelong pretty emphatically, but otherwise an average of 7 points to the losses against the heavyweight top 10 sides. This would be a big statement. Final term underway on ABC Sport. Grundy up against Sweet. Neither ruck wins out, but Grundy gets it on the bounce with the crumb. Kicks across the body up towards Lloyd. He's battling with Burne-Jones. Swans to the right-hand side of your radio dial. Riverbank end. Neither can really win the footy. Coming in with the assist is Jordan as he tackles Horne-Francis. Will get a ball up. Right half forward for the Swans. Grundy in front. Slaps it looking for Jordan, but it's sharked by Drew. Gets it out to Burne-Jones. Quick kick forward as he hacked it for territory. It's going to work to Butters, but he fell over the footy. You don't see that often, and it's actually rolled towards the boundary line. Now, did Mills get a hand on it beforehand? He's saying he didn't. Boundary umpire reckons, yes, it was touched. Will be a lasso free kick if Butters touched it last.
It'll be a lasso.
Boundary throw in.
It came off Butters' boot, didn't it?
It's right in front of us here.
It absolutely came off his boot.
And Mills did not get there in time. So, yes, boundary throwing in front of the benches. Through centre wing, Port by 9.
Grundy in front of the boundary throw-in. He's going to earn the free kick, being held. True centre wing. Goes short to Matt Roberts. Marks in front of Horn Francis. South Adelaide boys. Roberts pumps it inside the forward 50. Fisted away by Ram. Roved by Butters. Dropped the footy. Ram picked it up. Tackled by two Swans. Another ball up 35 metres out. 45-degree angle. Right half forward for the Swans.
Watch Heaney here.
Grundy down. Burgoyne got the quick kick away. Sheldrick grabbed it out of the air. Tackled by Butters. And a bit of territory gain for Port Adelaide, but not much. Another ball up right half forward for the Swans.
Grundy holds his ground against Sweet, taps it down. Drew was waiting again, tried to flick it out. Farrell had 2 to beat. Quickly game tackled and will go again. Port by 9. Freo fans watching on with the bye, wondering if Sydney will be able to leapfrog them. Tap down, Jordan wrapped up. Drew walks him over. Boundary throw in to come, 45 out. Sydney's attacking 50 still. Anticipated between 32 to 37,000 tonight. Looks around that range. They're getting their money's worth. Tossed in. Sweet and Grundy both had each other's Guernseys, but the free kick's going the Powers' way. Grundy was certainly towards the neck region, right at the top of the collar. And Jordan Sweet will get it in the left back pocket and send it up towards the broadcast wing.
Looking for Marshall up against Hamling, and strong from Todd. Oh, he's asked to play on. Jordan was in his zone of where he wanted to play on. And he's turned it over, and they're going to give a 50 as well. That could have easily been 50 against the Swans there as Marshall rolled around. But instead, for a late hit over Bice's head, he gets a free kick advance to 65 out, kicks it to Hamling in unusual territory at right half forward.
He's got all the distance here too, I think, Hamling.
So just the 3 goals in his 108 game career. Goes long, up towards the pocket. Aaliyah brought it to ground. That looked like a throw to Curnow, and he snapped around the body, and it's touched. And it'll be a boundary thrown right next to the right behind post.
Port by 9. Early stages, final term. All the superstars are here. Heaney, Butters, all around the ball. Rowbottom's there, as is Burgoyne. Tossed in, Grundy down. Bounces off the chest of Rowbottom on the half volley. Farrell clears it. It's going to come straight back, though. Only found Wicks at right half forward for the Swans. Wicks darts left and then kicks right. Short pass, Cunningham. On return to the side, 8th of the season. Tries to place it. Rising up, Amadi on the run. Should have taken it, put it down. Heaney, though, pounces, gathers, snaps, and curls right across the face. And it just gets through for a minor score. Port by 8. First score of the final term are behind to the Swans.
It's like Heaney's playing a bit more forward here to start this term. He's just got such great strength and balance. So Farrell brings it out. Port up by 8 points. Goes long towards Cochrane. Couldn't complete the mark. There's going to be a free off the ball for a hold. Going the way of the power. Marshall wins out. Blakey takes his time handing it to him. Defensive corner. Left hand side of the centre square. Asked to play on. Chips over the top to Richards on the logo. Heart in your mouth stuff for a moment, Jamo.
I think he was worried his last kick went straight to Blakey.
So he plays on now, and he's going to send a torpedo inside the forward 50. And it goes straight in the hands of Hamling. Having a good night tonight is Joel Hamling.
Good.
He handballs off quickly. It comes out of defence through Wicks. Up towards Amadi. Too strong for Farrell to Lloyd. Aaliyah in better position, but Curnow did well to bring it to ground. Roved by Cleary. Handballs to Curnow, and he can run in for his third. He enjoyed that one, did Big Charlie. He wants the crowd feedback, and he gives some himself. Back to a 2-point margin. Sydney 10-9-69. The Power 10-11-71.
Sydney's reply on turnover, you know they're going to keep throwing punches, but thought Aaliyah read the ball best. He just couldn't hold that mark, and full credit to Charlie Curnow. I think he hasn't had heaps of the ball tonight, but he's been able to play that role at important times of the game where he got the ball on the ground and then he's able to sneak out the back. We spoke a little bit about it pre-game. If Aaliyah takes that mark there, Porter off and going. But Curnow's last little fingernail to get that on the ground meant he was able to get out the back and kick the goal. It's you can't underrate those little influences from Curnow. It does look like an easy one because he's running into an open goal, but he's earned it the hard way.
The ease in which Sydney have been able to score when they have scored. Like, again, just the footy quickly in there. Port Adelaide have really had to work hard.
Port by 2. Sweet downhorn Francis gets through the tackle of Grundy and hands it to Butters. Now to Wines. What a trio. Into the 50 for Port Adelaide. Cochrane was running. Launched a little too early in the end. Sarong with the fist didn't get enough punch on it. Bice on hands and knees. Tries to get a handball out of D50. Bamet's tracking it though on debut. Gives it to Wines. He got around Cleary. They're backtracking but have possession. Butters to Lockie Jones. He flung it and just lost the handle and gave it away as he scooped it out towards McDonald. Gives it to the Chad. Warner, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and then he skids it straight towards Radicalier. Just couldn't get the cherry on top. Aaliyah with the clearing kick now as he gets it from Asava, but it will come back. Body work from Bice as he pushes off McKinlay. Back to the 50, and the Chad will get a chance to make amends. Warner drops down and takes the mark, 45 out.
It was super footy from Riley Bice. I've been really impressed with him, especially in this second half. This quarter alone, he's had the 3 disposals leading the Swans, 95 metres gained. He's got such a nice kick. And another inside 50 leading to a Swan set shot.
Chad Warner at left half forward. Need to give this plenty of oomph. 4 lead changes across the night.
It's unusual holding of the football, isn't it, too, for those who can see it.
Chad Warner for the lead. Went way back on the man on the mark and still got it all the way home. A monster effort from the Chad, and he loves it. Sydney up by 4. 8 played, final term, 11-9-75, plays 10-11-71. The Swans on top in the final quarter. Lauren Arnell, Rod Jamieson on ABC Sport.
What a player, Chad Warner. He'd just run probably a third of the ground to have the last shot at goal, and then to finish that one, he would have been absolutely gassed. He's having a huge influence on this game in the second half. And it just feels like the Swans are getting going now, Jamo.
And his leg speed too, that was surprising when he took the 3 bounces to have a shot. He normally has very reliable kick, and to kick it as poorly as he did into that forward 50, but then to back it up, find the effort and create the space and drop it all at 50 plus. Sydney going to have to work hard to keep a hold of him this year.
Sydney on song in the final term. Sheldrick took too long. That's got to be holding it. He didn't get rid of it. Tackled by me, dropped the footy. I think they're freezing out there tonight. The umpires, it is cold, but make a decision. Back in the middle of the ground.
That is outstanding, Tom.
Chad Warner, handballs towards Roberts. At the bottom of the pack was Wines. Burgoyne, Butters, tackled by Wicks. Play on, says the umpire. And Richards lays a tackle and will have another ball up in the middle of the ground.
I get it. It's hard. It is. But really, the simple ones and the easy ones.
Swans by 4. Grundy gets rid of Sweet, takes it out of the ruck and gets the clearance, rolling up to right half forward. Lloyd wrestling with Evans, and Burgoyne comes in with the assist out of nowhere. The check side through the broadcast wing. Mead tries to rip Blakey out of the drop. Towed forward for Port Adelaide. Just clean bowled Marshall. Picking it up is Edwards, but he turned into trouble. Wines gets him, and the umpire quickly calls for a ball up. Ball had bobbled out, but raced straight in. Now we'll go again. Sweet down to Wines. Kicked it across the body. Spoil on Marshall from Edwards, but went straight to Richards. Buffeted it off the kick, but got it to Georgiades. With one hand, he's reeled that in. And it was a handball. Jeez. I got so excited there, Jamo. I was like, why have they not paid this? Let's go again. Stoppage inside 50. Port still on the chance here. Sweet down to Butters, just over around the footy. Towed out of there by Sheldrick. Richards now chasing it with Warner, who tried to commit to the free kick. It gave him a chance to gather. Butters tries to screw the kick towards Durden. Front position, Rowbottom though. Gets it out for the Swans to Cleary, and some space now for Lloyd.
Lloyd gets past Evans and Burgoyne, sweeping handball into the centre square. Wicks now taking him on out towards Roberts on the centre wing.
This is where they're good.
Wicks goes again, takes the handball, runs to 80 metres out, handballs again to Lloyd, runs inside the forward 50, goes for home, Jakey Lloyd! He slotted it, Jakey! What a great team goal! And the finish was perfect. He's got his second. And the Swans are on song in the final term. 12-9-81, Port 10-11-71.
Well, Loz, that's Sydney at its best in terms of how they generate and create the run. They come wide, and then there's that player that runs past the man on the mark who cannot move, then all of a sudden creates the overlap. The defender comes up, another handball forward, and then Lloyd had the options.
Special finish, though. Yeah. Tight on the boundary, just curled it perfectly.
It's just that run, the run from Sydney, their ability to just keep running at you. The Port midfielders couldn't keep up in that play. There was a couple that just didn't see it through, and that's why Jake Lloyd got out and had such a brilliant shot at goal.
285th game, and he spent so much of it in defence, but going forward, he's incredibly dangerous.
Voices of Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell and ABC Sport. The Swans with the last 3, now up by 10. Out of the middle, Sheldrick bowled over. Free kick going to Richards, though, for a hold. They wanted to take the advantage because Horne-Francis was well ahead of where the free kick was when he gathered. But it will be brought back by Lenny T.
Well, just as well, Georgiades dropped the chest mark.
Richards in the centre circle. Sydney have flooded back. Lower the eyes. Short pass just back of centre half forward to Berry, who heads to right half forward. Burn-Jones near the Wanganeen stand. Swans by 10. Port have led for the majority of the night. Burn-Jones tight into the scoreboard pocket, and Hammerling throws his body into the air with a big fist, cleans up a teammate and an opposition player and forces it over the boundary line. That was an excellent effort, and fortunately for the Power faithful, it's Horne-Francis the man that he took down in the process.
He's actually... Oh, he's got a left knee from Hamley into the right side, hasn't he, too? He's still down on his haunches.
That's a patella straight into the rib cage, and at full tilt from Hamling as well. That's not going to tickle for Horne-Francis. He is a very tough player. That might have done a bit of damage.
It'll help his golf. I played my best golf with broken ribs.
Got back on his haunches eventually, Jason Horne-Francis, so he's going to stay out there, the Warrior. They'll need him now. Down 10, tossed in. Whitlock battling with McLean. Neither ruck got a tap. Bounced out towards Mead. Hands it back to Berry. He's running out of room for the power, and he gives it away with the handball, but was pulled away afterwards. So they'll get some relief. And 50. Harry Kyle didn't give it back. So Joe Berry gets marched into the arc. It'll be a difficult angle, but the distance won't be too much.
Left foot will suit at this angle as well.
So Cleary handed it to Kyle, and he should have given it straight back to Berry.
Just the technicality, huh?
Big moment. Joe Berry around the body. He tried to snap, and he just missed. Well, he missed wild right to the left. Joe Berry had a big opportunity. Why would you not kick a drop punt? It's Sydney by 9.
Or not the leather off it.
Just got to complete those goals. Handed a 50-metre penalty. Not to be. So Wicks at right half back for the Swans. Kicks long. Sava Radigalia too good for Curnow this time on the logo. Short kick. Makes it hard for McKinlay. And Cunningham with the experience comes over the top and knocks it out over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in right in front of the Swans bench. There's the attendance, 31,350 tonight from the Port Adelaide faithful, who've seen a real contest. Port led for most of this game, but the Swans, with 3 goals in this final term, now have a 9-point lead. So free kick in the ruck contest going the way of Grundy.
Just come on.
For a block.
Charlie Curnow came to the bench.
Handballs it off to Heaney at centre wing. Short to Warner. Quick handball away to Cunningham. 80 from goal. Pumps it long. Flying at the back was Aaliyah. Reddit Best takes in a set mark for the Power.
Cracking game with a 9-point margin. We're 15 minutes to the final term and Sydney leads, but I will take some air out of it because of how close this game has been. The Swans, who were 0.3% behind the Doctors, cannot jump into first now. And Jason Francis, off the clearing kick from Aaliyah, took a pack mark amongst a flurry of players, but they're going to give the free kick to Grundy. His handball was a little dicey, though. Hamling with a 1-2 slipped over, and Heaney nearly handed it over the line. Just touched a hand on the way through, a boundary throw-in, but the Port fans are relentless right now to the umpiring quartet. It is pandemonium at the Adelaide Oval. Hamling has definitely thrown that to Heaney.
We all have bad nights, Aaron.
It's going to be a little cold in the VFL next week.
Sweet. With the clearance to Burgoyne up towards the logo. Whitlock managed to soccer it to a teammate's advantage, but his handball was a ride at Cunningham to Heaney. Heaney's almost wrapped up by Bammett, shrugged the tackle. Sweeping handball over the top to Rowbottom. This would hurt if he hits the target. He misses it, but Asava Radigalia dropped the mark. Cleary handballs it away. Snapshot on goal! Logan McDonald. That's his third. And the Swans are extending their margin. 13-9-87, Port 10-12-72. 4 for the quarter for the Swans.
Just their ability once again in the middle of the ground. Their big name players. Isaac Heaney, still 10 minutes remaining. He's had 7 disposal. Grundy 6. Jake Lloyd with the 4. Wicks with the 5. Burgoyne, Richards, Wines all with 4 at the moment. Butters with 3. James Jordan doing a good job in this last quarter on him too, but just their inability at times to take assessment of the actual situation. Port Adelaide again, just another drop mark. I think it was Sava Radigalia that put it down. It's come to ground and there's 3 Sydney players waiting.
History is repeating. The late surge got them over the line against the Saints, and now it is the Swans by 15. Out of the middle, Sheldrick tackle, dropped the footy, gets another chance. Towed it forward, but Burne-Jones was there for the power. Tries to knock it to Wines, who gets it to Bammett, then Burne-Jones. It is an absolute fine box, and they got it out, but then Wines just gave it straight back, handed it to Kyle, and Sydney head up to left half forward. McDonald's got a good run. Well away from Ram and takes the uncontested mark. Stood off his line though. Suddenly they're under pressure. Has to link up with Cunningham. Kick a little dicey central. Well held by Harry Kyle. Game number 3 for the Academy products. He's popped up in little stages tonight. Was handy there in the last 60 seconds. Gives it to Blakey. Nice short pass to Jordan. Port have been caught napping. Crowd's getting frustrated. Jordan at left half forward. Spots something he likes in the pocket. It's Heaney 2 to beat. Couldn't control it. Wines shoots the handball back. Aaliyah under pressure. Snap to Tumbler. Butters skids down to get it. Releases Drew. Port now surging off half back.
They need to mark the power. And Georgiades gets one on the chest. Out of side. Centre wing.
Just have to sit and as they transition sideways because they had so many people or players behind the footy.
Back to Evans. Right half back. Chips one a centre half back to Burgoyne. Trying to get some options in the middle of the ground. It's going to have to go wider to Berry. Good contest there from Roberts. Power players go to ground. Good effort from Berry, the tackle on Lloyd. Got his handball away to Roberts, but he handballed it to Richards. Working by the arse here at Adelaide Oval. Richards now to Berry, right on the boundary line. Kicks up towards left half forward. Bammett flies. Couldn't complete the mark. Whitlock in there for Port Adelaide. Grundy on his knees. Picked up the footy, tackled. Will have a ball up. Forward to centre wing for Power. They're trailing by 15 points. Sydney's dominated this quarter. They turned a 9.3 quarter time deficit into a 15-point lead.
Just ticked into time on. Grundy down, but Berry was there. Gets it to Butters and a beautiful bullet pass to Georgiades. 25 out, left forward pocket.
Geez, that was good stoppage work from Port Adelaide. Jordan Sweet, nice little tap boundary side, and midfielder spitting through for Butters on the fast run. He must have just come off from the bench. Just elite stoppage work.
Sydney have outscored the opponents by nearly 3 goals per game in time on periods, ranked number 1 in the competition.
Georgiades on the fence, left forward pocket, man on the marks, 25 out. Steps in, opens the angle slightly and hits it pure. We're not done yet. Mitch Georgiades with 2. Margin margin's down to 9 again. Sydney 13-9-87. Port Adelaide 11-12-78. We've got 8 minutes to go here at the Adelaide Oval on ABC Sport.
Well, again, if they can find some of that composure, Loz, in that second quarter for the last 7.5 minutes of this last one, they're every chance. There's still plenty of time. And the game will open up because both teams will continue to want to score.
It's the combinations for me. I just go straight to this centre ball up. It's been such an important part of the game tonight. And the Swans have got Warner, Heaney. Can't see the back of the jumper of their third inside, boys. I'm not sure if you can see, but Port have gone back to their stock. Butters, Horne-Francis, Willem Drew.
James Jordan. On Butters.
Yep.
Back in the centre. Great contest between these two teams. Grundy down to Heaney to Warner. The Stars at play. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Bit further inside the forward 50 to McDonald. Curnow gathered the footy. Dangerous ball towards the top of the goal square. Evans gets a handball to Radigalia. Works it to Burn-Jones. That was clean to Horne-Francis. Right half back for the Power.
Drops the kick in with a loopy one over the top. Joe Richards shoots the handball over to Burn-Jones. Turned into Cunningham, so had to roll the kick forward. It was well done. McKinlay turns on a dime. Kick a little short for Marshall. He didn't get low enough and fumbled. He's pushed off the ball, and Mills gets there for the Swans. Gave it to Cunningham. Desperate smother from Richards. Todd Marshall's had a mare there, but they get another crack through centre wing on the eastern side.
Just a couple of big smothers by Port Adelaide tonight at the right time. Pressure's been good.
Boundary throw in. Outer side of the ground. Still plenty of time. 23 gone in the final term. Sweet knocks it to himself. Quickly kicks it up towards right half forward. Whitlock being held out of the contest by Hamling and allowed Blakey to take the mark at left half back. Chips it over the top to Hamling now. No man on the mark. So he's just going to chew up some clock. Kicks long down the line now. Big defender. Jones was all alone but dropped the mark. Rode by Cleary. He handballed it straight to Radigalia. Now Jones kicks a barrelling ball back to where it came from. Flying was Marshall. Whitlock the rover. Hamling did better though. Gets a handball away to Mills. Flicks it across to Wicks at centre half back. Lowers the eyes and finds Warner.
Has a run up, riding shotgun, and he releases Wicks, who lost his feet. He tried to zag past Butters, slipped, and he's gone. Zach Butters wins the footy in the centre square. Sam Wicks just didn't have the poise to escape. Butters to send Port inside 50, down 9, and he hits Horne-Francis. Set shot to come, 40 from home, and he races back on his mark. Still plenty of time, but they need a couple.
That Sam Wicks is like at a blowout, like a Formula One car, hasn't he too? Coming into the home turn.
I saw better tyres at 3/4 time.
Yeah. With two people in them.
Jason Horne-Francis starts in the centre square. Methodical straight line. Big moment to set the state alight. The Hornets kicks the goal. 2 for the evening, and the margin's just 3. 12-12-84. Sydney 13-9-87. 5 to go. Saturday footy on ABC Sport with Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell.
It was super effort from the in-season skipper now in Zach Butters just to cover the corridor. The Swans have been carving up through there, not just tonight but all season. And to arrive as Sam Wicks got going through the middle of the ground and then reply back to someone who's had such an exceptional season so far and keeps getting better, Jason Horne-Francis. What a finish. He's a clutch player. Game on.
3 points the margin. Every time it looked like the Swans would run away with it, Port have found a response. Still trailing by 3. Last 2 goals of the game. Sweet knocks it forward out of the ruck. Swans players converge. Warner first. Handball's back to Wicks. He kicks a very high ball out towards the wing. Grundy's underneath it. Tries to knock it towards Roberts. Berry's in there on his hands and knees. Handballed it straight to Lloyd. Grundy goes forward again. Ball in dispute at the logo. Butters looking for Evans out towards the boundary line. Curnow and Radaglia. It's bouncing off feet. Now Berry gathers. Goes to Evans. Kicks long down the line. The numbers in favour of the Swans. Marshall tries to halve it. Blakey was better. The Lizard snaps around his body looking for Lloyd. Did he touch it? He did. We'll have a boundary throw in just forward of centre wing for Sydney. They lead by 3 points, 26 gone, final term.
How about James Jordan in back play after the tackle on Butters? Just stayed on top of him to make sure he couldn't follow the footy. Meant that Sydney won the ball, but the kick was no good. Tossed in. Grundy gets rid of Sweet. Off a step. Sets it up towards the 50. Burne-Jones courageous. Tried to take the mark against two. Knocked away to Aaliyah. Towed it forward for the power. As does Ollie Wines. The soccer skills. They might need him at the Socceroos tomorrow because he's found his target left half forward. But it's overrun by Whitlock. Rides the contact as he caresses Sarong. Comes out towards the boundary line. Berry wants to keep it in. Handball central. Porter making it work. Drew gets it out to Whitlock. He's tackled. Drops it this time. Sydney just didn't give up. Free kick to Mills. They're up by 3. Dying stages at the Oval.
Oh, it's hot. Pressure's on. These 4 points matter at the top and down the bottom end. Sarong has the footy at right half back for the Swans. Up towards centre wing. In front spot was Sweet. Knocks it down. Berry gathers, keeps it into Burgoyne to Drew. Quick kick forward inside the 50. Marshall in front, brings it to ground. Wines tries to gather. He hasn't gathered it yet, and he handballed it right to Mills. Running off half back though was Jones. Now the Swans have the numbers. Quick kick out of defence. Port have the numbers now. Curnow brings it to the front. Sweet gathers, lays a big tackle in the middle of the ground. Well done, Charlie.
Good footy all round. It's such a hot contest.
Curnow's got a corky. Sweet's a bit sore as well. Grundy wins it down. Chad Warner in traffic. Just sweeps through and kicks up to Cleary. He's just behind half forward. The Swans by 3. Goal could put it to bed. Cleary will set it up. Curnow trying to run, as is McLean. Aaliyah got there, but knocked it straight down the throat of Roybottom. Thank you very much. James Roybottom strikes. Sydney might have got the sealer. They're up by 9 at the Adelaide Oval. 14-9-93, plays 12-12-84, and James Roybottom might be the hero at the Adelaide Oval.
Geez, you can't really fault Sydney. Port Adelaide have thrown every single punch that they have in them, and shout to James Roybottom, like obviously a super finish in the dying stages of this game to probably give them the lead they need to finish it off. There's still enough time for Port, but Roybottom's played such an important role for his team tonight. He's been able to see through Kane Farrell. Anytime Port Adelaide have taken a mark at their front half and Farrell's trying to overlap run for the handball, Roybottom has seen him through. He's only had the 8 disposals for the game, but to kick that goal in an unselfish role is absolutely clutch for Sydney.
Having a look at Logan McDonald as that was unfolding, he went back. Blakey went forward. Now they've switched that back around, so Blakey's gone to the half back. Logan McDonald's now gone forward as a target.
Back in the middle of the ground. Off Grundy's head. Handball from Jordan to Warner. Up towards centre half forward. Curnow and Radaglia. Curnow tries to gather the footy. An underground handball went 20 metres forward. Jones knocks it to Evans. Back to Jones. Flicks it over the top to Burgoyne. Back to Jones. Now Horne-Francis has the footy. Want a free kick in back play. Chips short to Butters, who has to be strong. He was met hard by Jordan over the shoulder. Gets a free kick on the logo. Quick kick now to Berry. Forward of centre wing for Port Adelaide. Plays on. Runs past Blakey. He took the skates off him. Kicks into the pocket out of bounds on the full. Did all the hard work. Couldn't complete it in the finish. Sydney will have it in the right back pocket. Leading by 9 points. 30 gone in the final term.
Thrilling finish on ABC Sport, and Chad Warner, the careless one who stuck a hand out to collect Lockie Jones, but he's good to go out there still. Swans by 2 kicks. 9 points is the lead. They try to exit. 3-on-3, couple of hands in there. Kyle knocked it towards the boundary line. Berry keeps it in. Got it back to Burgoyne. Into the 50 for Port. Georgiades wrestling with Edwards. Well contained, and Mills at the back thumps it over the boundary line.
He was a good defender. He got his fist to it, but he had time to actually take a mark. It's gone over the back. Gives Port Adelaide a chance. 1 minute 19 remaining.
At the northern end, Port Adelaide down 9. It is now or never. Tossed in. Sweet in front. Committed too early on the bounce. Roberts buffeted off the kick. Richards with the tackle forces the turnover. Marshall parts the seas. Kick was too soft. Sitting back, Mills will get the clearing kick for the Swans. Out towards the centre square. It's not towards Cleary. Gets it to Curnow. He fends off Jones. Tackled but got it away. Coming back though. Wasn't a clean disposal. Free kick. Port Adelaide left half forward.
So Jones.
Drop a barrel.
Has it. Looking for a target. Horn Francis is flying. And Sweet is marking. Marks 30 out. Directly in front. He's rushing back to take his kick.
Well, he's kicked 1 goal, 1 both in the first quarter.
In comes Jordan Sweet. Pumps it straight over the goal umpire's hat. There's still time. How sweet it would be. There's time. Port 13-12-90. Sydney 14-9-93. 35 seconds left in this one.
Well, Loz, what do you think?
Oh, I think well done, Lockie Jones. He's just had a whack in the chops from Chad Warner about a minute ago, and to win that contest is so important. Jordan Sweet keeps standing up. That battle in the ruck's been huge, and now centre ball up.
So
It's
important.
big. Oh, my goodness.
And the equation in this last quarter, it's 11 clearance apiece.
They rise as one at Adelaide Oval. The place is rocking. It's the last chapter full of twists and turns tonight. Sydney by 3. 35 on the clock. Here we go. Sweet and Grundy. Sweet wins it down looking for Butters. He gathers. Hands it back. Coming off the half-back line is Farrell. Kick a little short of Burgoyne. Tumbles towards the 50. Berry can't read the bounce. Neither can Sarong though. Whitlock puts his head over it. Heaney dives in. Tackled by Drew. Ball up half forward.
19 seconds.
Butters on the move. Gee, just unlucky.
Radigalia gone forward. Curnow's gone with him.
Lenny T tosses it in the air. Grundy with the swat towards the boundary line. Sydney have the numbers on the eastern side. Chad Warner gets it to Cleary. Kicks up the half forward. It's now or never. Aaliyah commits with the fist. Couldn't quite get the contact. Evans punched in the tackle. The Swans are going to survive. Sydney holds on and gets through the power shock. The Swans by 3 at the Adelaide Oval. And they are 4 games clear of 5th now. What a night. Port Adelaide led for the majority of it. They were up by 4 at quarter time, 15 at the half, and 9 at three-quarter time. The lead changed hands 5 times, came down to a close finish. Port Adelaide couldn't find the answers, and Sydney just keep finding a way through amongst the injuries. Despite all the adversity coming their way, in back-to-back weeks, they pull off terrific comebacks and are 12-2 on the season. James Robot, the man who got stopped them there, and Jordan Sweet, nearly the man who pinched it back. Sydney win 14-9-93 to Port Adelaide's 13-12-90. And the average losing margin for Port Adelaide against top 10 sides continues. Just single digits here, there and everywhere. They're almost so competitive against the best Port Adelaide, but Sydney ultimately are the cream of the crop right now. They'll sit in second. Fremantle hold on to top spot despite the bye with their percentage. And it means that Sydney are 4 games clear of the Hawks in 5th, but have played the extra fixture as well. What a night. Rod Jamieson, Lauren Arnell to unpack it all for you on ABC Sport.
What a game of footy, Jamo. That was, so many players on their haunches when that final siren went, whether they're Sydney players or Port Adelaide, and so many opportunities to win the game. Port Adelaide got so close, Jamo, but I just can't believe the Swans just find a way to win. And I haven't seen Freo live yet this year, but these types of wins away, after winning against the Saints at home last week, the McInerney injury, the McCartan injury, I'm very, very impressed with the Swans, and equally by Port Adelaide tonight, Jamo. I think you'd be absolutely gutted if you're leaving as a Port supporter or a Port player, and I saw Josh Carr got out on the ground very quickly to get around his players and give them a pat on the back and keep their heads up high, because they can absolutely do that tonight. And I just hope that, I know there's frustration with the umpires, but I hope that's not the story of tonight. I hope that the story is a young and bashful Port Adelaide team who threw many punches against what has to be easily a top 4 side in this competition for the remainder of the year, Jamo. And Sydney just showed enormous amounts of resilience.
Yeah, look, I don't know. They say if you lose, you learn the most when you're in those sort of games. And I think tonight, whether Port Adelaide won or lost, they would have learned a lot in how they played and how they were able to keep at bay one of the best attacking teams, but certainly one of the best defensive teams in the competition. I think Jordan Sweet, that's probably one of the better games I've seen him play.
Both rucks played. Both main rucks played really well.
Yeah. I guess Darcy Byrne-Jones, you're right, that's a good game I've seen him play for quite some time too, just the way he used the football. Overall, he's gone at 93% kicking efficiency and across the half-back line too, which is probably where he plays his best footy. Zach Butters tagged heavily, 27, but I think it's assessing at the moment and the time, and I think if they look back at the first quarter, it's never one moment, but that first quarter, I think, is where the amount of football they had, the disposals they had, the opportunities in front of goal that they missed.
The easy ones.
Yeah. I reckon that's the part of that's why they've lost the game, I would suggest.
A couple of 50-metre penalties too. Like, those are the ones where if you're involved with the footy club or even a member, you lose sleep over those. But ultimately, what you've said, Jamo, I mean, you've got a team who Dean Cox is coaching exceptionally well. They just keep performing. Joel Hamling coming out of VFL and just going bang tonight. Like, he was that good in every moment. And then a Port Adelaide group who showing incredible heart for mine, and that will set them up long term.
I think Harry Ram, he's 2 contests. He only had the 4 disposals, but he 2 holding the balls, put himself on the line, and Port Adelaide went down and I think scored on both occasions too. So I guess the things that frustrate Aliir. Yes, he's a good defender. Yes, he wants to be the third man up. He tends to give his opponent too much room, but he directly turned the footy over on 3 occasions tonight too. When you kick it out and then it just comes back in, and you can't do it against most sides, let alone the Sydney side. So, and when you have a look at games played for Sydney, like, it's incredible the amount of experience. 121, 254, 235, 226, 153. This is why they win these types of games. They know what to do. They know how to set up. They know where to stand. And they did get challenged in the early part of the game, but they were able to go, okay, let's just settle down and we'll get this back. So, full credit to Dean Cox and his team. Exceptional. And, really happy to see him in the flesh tonight for the first time. But, yeah, a lot to like about Port Adelaide, particularly the defensive and the pressure side of their game.
On a macro level, there's been chatter around the competition, not just about Port, but some of these lower teams about, they shouldn't be winning games because they need draft picks. I mean, you can't tell me a performance like that tonight. They are going to be so gutted. If they won that game, that is going to do so much more for your footy club than having pick 4 rather than pick 7.
Oh, to be honest, the way you framed it, it's almost the best of both worlds if you walk away tonight, because I'm not joking. like if you're involved in that team, you're going, geez, we at our best, we can match it with the best teams, and that's important to know that. And we're only going to get better because guys like Jack Whitlock will learn from tonight. Xavier Bannerman played his first game and showed enough. Darcy Byrne-Jones just keeps showing up. Logan Evans was better again tonight as a key defender. Harry Ram gets a game under his belt against that four-pronged attack that we spoke about. And then ultimately you don't want to lose, but you need draft picks. It's probably best-case scenario.
We spoke about the wins being needed to lure Zach Butters to stay, but, I mean, you show an effort like that and there is so much promise. But tonight was Sydney's night in the end, an absolute thriller. They win by 3 points and they're making their way down the race now here at the Adelaide Oval, sitting 12-2 on the year and comfortably in second. Josh Money's waiting for them down in the rooms. Josh, what's it like down there in the Swans camp?
Well, it must be said, it's very quiet down there, actually. Probably only about 10 travelling family members and friends. But the Swans are walking in, and I'll tell you what, they don't look too happy either. They look defeated. They look spent, of course, going to the bye now. They've been beaten up and banged up and bruised over the last couple of weeks and gotten over the line again. And they're walking in here victorious. Chad Warner's got his two hands in the air. He's happy about it. And look, it's a great result for the team tonight, and we'll head into the bye at 12-2. But just a bye, but it feels like it's one that they're happy to put behind them and move on.
Thought you were going to start a golf cross there, Josh, the way you were talking, but
it's deadly quiet in here. But here comes the song. Not a heap of gusto, but I'll be back with Isaac Heaney.
Actually sounded like they wanted to get the song over and done with pretty quickly too.
Oh, you can't blame them. The volume of turnovers tonight and the manic pace of the game, they will be exhausted.
Both sides went blow for blow, and you couldn't question the heart of either. I think Sydney, rode as many haymakers as they could through tonight, and again, in consecutive weeks off a 6-day break, just found a way to win, and Port Adelaide just kept serving it to them and led for a large part of the night. So both clubs would walk away with certainly a lot to love, and there's a lot to unpack as well around it, and we'll do that for you across the next 40 minutes on ABC Sport and do our best to head into both camps as well. The text line tonight, 0437 774 774, a couple flooding through. So Alan in Middleton says Thursday night's game showed how a game should be umpired, and tonight's game showed how it shouldn't be. Fran loved the call. Another cracking performance from Port Adelaide, and my commiserations to them. Third time's the charm. And is wondering where Butters might end up, and says go for the Pies for next week. Brett in Canberra felt the umpiring favoured the Swans tonight, even though he's a Carlton supporter.
It landed 21 apiece.
There you go. I didn't feel like it was either way. It was more just the missed decisions on both sides.
Well, I think it was some of the decisions too that they paid. So they missed quite a few and then paid a few too many they shouldn't have.
And Wade's got back in touch just to really relish in the moment. He said it at half time. Sydney's second halves are better than their first, and ultimately they got the job done. So congratulations to you, Wade. Your tip was bang on. Sydney by 3 in the end, and they moved to 12-2 on the campaign.
What about their ruck? So we just spoke about Jordan Sweet's game. So he's had 13 contested, 9 clearances, 35 hit-outs. Brodie Gundy's had 26 disposals, 19 contested, 9 clearances. They were the two number one clearance players on the ground, like for two big rucks.
I found it really interesting the way that the game played out. Like, we know that Sydney's a handball chain team. Port Adelaide don't overdo it, but can at times. And because Sydney throw so many numbers around stoppage, for most of the game, Port had 3 forwards ahead of the ball if there was a stoppage in the middle of the ground, which meant there's both at least two Sydney halfbacks with their opponents close to stoppage, and then another extra wing from the halfback and half forward line. So there was just a lot of numbers, and both teams trying to keep the ball alive, which, to be really fair to the umpires, you could see Port had done their homework. They're trying to, slash hands through handball and keep the ball alive and smash it around in that sense. And it just makes it a turnover game. You guys, Aaron and Tom, you would have felt that calling it. Just ping pong inside, because there are so many players around stoppage, which meant it was important for Sweet and Grundy to get going.
There weren't many opportunities to catch a breath across the night. It was frenetic footy and an awesome finish. Sydney get up on top. Josh Money's down in the rooms for the reactions and the fallout. Josh, who have you got down there?
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Joined by Isaac Kearney, who was enormous again tonight. Isaac, we were just saying as you came in, the players looked absolutely spent. How tough was that?
Oh, yeah, they got on top, and I think their pressure was really good, especially early, and we didn't handle it. We fueled it with our ball use, and then stoppage-wise, they smacked us, especially early. So I don't know what it ended up with, but we had to get on board there and... really turned it around, and our energy was our biggest thing coming in at half-time that Coxie wanted us to really change. So the energy-giving behaviours, and we did that, which is good. We started to scramble better. Our pressure was better. We matched it and played a bit more territory game, which was good. So plenty to work on. But, I mean, to come over here in a hostile crowd against a team that was, very good on the night and get the win was pleasing.
Did it surprise you at all, the way they came out and their ferocity?
Nah, I don't know how many wins they've had this year, but they're a much better side than what they've had. When they get going, they're hard to stop, and it was good that we could wrestle back that momentum because they were going pretty hard. And we've plenty to work on, but it was good to come away with the win.
To head into the bye at 12-2, you're banged up as well. There's probably 7 of your best 23 not out there. What sort of springboard does that give you for the back half of the year?
I think that's the most pleasing thing over the last couple of weeks is to get these wins when we're plenty down. I think we've got 13 or 14 on the injury list, so that does hurt you a little bit with the continuity of the group, and to get these wins with that is really good, and I'm stinging for the bye. I can't wait for a few days off and go and have a fish, relax, and a couple of frothies just to really let the mind go.
Here's Lauren Nail and Rod Javison.
Isaac, I can hear you're absolutely cooked. It looked like a manic game of footy, and you mentioned Dean Cox asked you for more energy at half-time. I'm interested in what changed around stoppage as well. Was it a more kick to handball ratio that you wanted to go after in that third quarter, or what else changed?
Yeah, absolutely. We probably had to get more on the backs of our midfielders as the ball was spitting out a little bit, and they were beating us in that. The first and the second sort of scramble. Then we really matched it in that second part of the scramble in the second half, and our pressure ramped right up too, and sort of had to get that territory game going a little bit. And on a defensive aspect, it was controlling. They controlled the ball really well, and we didn't man up locate a man as best as we should. And then on the flip side, if we could control the ball as well, sort of both teams were playing 7 defenders, and if we could control that footy and then sort of punch it in a bit deeper. We had a few shallow entries which cost us, and they went straight back through us early. So, like you said, it was a bit more control the footy, make them defend a little bit, and then deeper entries and put the pressure on. Oh,
you did it exceptionally well, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on 2 players that contributed to that, alongside yourself, of course. Riley Bice, he looks to have an absolute lethal leg, and Chad Warner really got going after half-time.
Yeah, Bice, he's a legend. He'll run all day. Probably fittest bloke on our list, but you just know that when he gets the ball, he takes off. You're like, mate, chill. We can't keep up with him half the time. So his left foot's unbelievable. He's got plenty of confidence, and his run's elite. So and then Chatty, once he gets his defensive efforts right, he's very hard to play on, and you see his explosiveness when he goes. He's very good, and he was pretty composed tonight, I thought, with the footy, which was nice. So. It was pleasing. He's banked a few good games now for the last 3 games when we needed him. So players like that, when they really stand up, make a massive difference.
Isaac, Rod Jamieson, great win. I thought particularly the first quarter, 18 inside 50s to 10 in favour of Port, but Joel Hamley stood up tonight in defence.
He's Mr. Reliable. He comes in and he probably doesn't move the best, but he's smart and his body's elite, and he's good, very good overhead. So he's we love him to come in. Pretty stiff that he hasn't been in more this season, but we've got a very good side that can do that. So him, Josh Wrong down back was unbelievable. Millsy when he went back, it was really good. They were under the pump early, like you said, especially that first and second quarter, and they held up fairly well, which is really nice.
How good's Jake Lloyd been? I mean, he's played most of his games in defence, but yet goes forward this year and playing exceptional football.
I think he's been underrated this year. I think the way our half forwards can get starved with the footy a little bit with their running patterns. We're starting to use them and sort of rather than go through the nest, like through the middle of the field, because teams are shutting that off, we sort of go around, and that's where Lloydie's been at his best, and he's composed with the footy. He's a very good ball user, and he's a smart footballer as well. So he's an old head, and he's been very good and runs all day. So he's been great for us.
Tom Wilson here, Isaac. I want to talk about the crowd. They were giving a lot of feedback towards the umpires and a lot of feedback to you guys. Do you enjoy that? I saw you, Charlie, the Chad, all going to the crowd and having fun with it. Is it a great environment, even if it is hostile?
Yeah, it's very hostile. It's absolutely. We love coming down here. I mean, I love Adelaide Oval to play at. To be honest, it's one of the best, if not the best, ovals to play at, and it is a hostile crowd. We have some good supporters down here, but when you come here, you know it's going to be on, and to be honest, they're pretty. I won't go there. That'll be a headline. But it's a hostile crowd, and if we can silence them, we've had some of our better wins down here, and when you can silence them, it's a pretty cool feeling. But when they're up and about, they're loud.
They're loud about umpiring, and it can be something that's talked about a little bit too much. It seemed for us that there was a lot of frustration out in the field as well, a bit unsure of something, especially holding the ball calls. Was that something that you were feeling on the ground?
To be honest, I used to be a person that got really frustrated with a lot of things, but the umpires as well. And I actually feel pretty sorry for the umpires, to be honest. The way that all these rule changes have come in flat out, they've got to. They've got to umpire these games that are just kind of all over the joint, and I think people need to stop giving them so much flack. It's a tough game for them. It's a very, very tough game with how it's going, and they're not going to get everything right. They're only human, so I've really turned my mindset around with that, and it's not worth arguing really. It's a tough job for them. So respect to all of them.
Isaac, Sauer and Brian's here. Great to have you with us as part of ABC Sports coverage after the Swans won by 3. You've been a part of some really prolific sides, Isaac, that have made multiple grand finals, but you had Charlie Curnow, Jai Sarong, Malcolm Roses. You're seeing some kids coming through like Edwards and Kyle. Where does this team rank amongst the ones you've played with?
I think we've got a great mix of experienced heads and that middle group that's getting a lot of experience under their belt. So, and then some young players coming through that have been able to step up straight away. Like you said, Will Edwards coming in, even Caden Cleary on the half forward line do his role. So we've got some very good players that are being really consistent. I think it's a team we're still learning a lot. I think we're still a little way to go, but it could be a very, very good side and one of the better ones I've played in.
Just before we let you go, Isaac, there's reports that the Swans are keen to keep you for life. 2030 offer extension by the sounds of things. Do you want to stay with Sydney forever?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone wants to be one club player. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Best of luck to you, Isaac, and thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Isaac Heaney downstairs after the Swans' 3-point victory over Port Adelaide.
How good.
He's a ripping
He sounds
fella,
like a
isn't he?
22-year-old, though, doesn't he? Too? But you have to have a look. He's 30 years old, and he's played 236 games tonight. Interesting insight, though, too, when he said, we like to go through the nest. I think he was referring to the middle of the ground, but he pulled back and said through the middle of the ground. So that's obviously a terminology they use in the four walls.
And also that they've now got the confidence to have a plan B. They don't have to go through the middle, and obviously when you're at the SCG and it's a smaller ground, it works either way, and to be able to do it at Adelaide Oval, that will be important for them. And he mentioned Jake Lloyd's goal. Using the width of the ground at a ground like this is much more similar to the MCG, and so that will matter.
He's, in a way, weirdly played in so many big games, played 230 odd games, has slightly been off Broadway in the sense that he doesn't play in Melbourne. He has been at this type of level for a very, very long time, and he's doing it. He was sort of that mid forward before, sort of your 19 touches, 2 goals a game type. The 25 and 2 is what he's living on, and probably higher that possessions wise. Like he's able to sort of just do it across the ground. He never stops running. He can beat you in the air. I mean, he's really got it all.
Well, he was very close to outmarking Aliir in a standing marking contest, and I double took because I was like, it's Isaac Heaney, and Aliir doesn't get outmarked anywhere. What a player.
Yeah, it was amazing. A bench press off. They were bench pressing each other in a way, and he held him off.
Yeah. I was certainly thinking tonight, watching him play, like, he's been tagged for years, like they just walk up to him and he just knows when to push, when to defend, like let them do what they need to do, and at the right time he finds that space and creates it. And we saw that last week, with the 15 seconds to go where he was able to get away and give out a handball, but just watching him do it again tonight, and he's ended up with another 30 disposals. Like, he's had a massive influence on the game.
As you said in the pre-game, be a career-high 27 touches and 2 goals a game. It's just rare air how he's doing it. And he's missed a few early through a hamstring injury, but I don't think it's going to cost him a blazer, the way he's playing.
I did enjoy his honesty, too, about what he's going to do over the bye.
Yes.
fishing and beer.
I thought he was talking to you.
that could have been me, actually. I love beer.
The 2030 extension as well would get him to 34. Like, there's no reason why that couldn't be his second last offer. He might even keep going past that, the way players are progressing these days. So it's...
And managed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like, again, they'll manage him through games and through the week and what have you, but, yeah, gosh, he can play.
That forward craft he's got means that he could be probably like a Patrick Dangerfield who can, you know, sort of sit up forward and get through the season and then spin through contests and, you know, have those high contest possession games like he did a couple of weeks ago against the Crows.
Did love, his feeling about the side, though. Feels like this is a team that's going to be a premiership contender for sure, sitting in second. Port Adelaide with a gallant effort tonight. They were so courageous, plenty of heart, led for the majority of it as well, and again pushed the top side right to the brink. Let's get some reaction in their rooms with Josh Money.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron. A really bruising defeat for Port Adelaide, who fought all night, and Joe Richards was huge in the midfield. Joe, how tough was that game? Was just in the Swans room, and they all looked absolutely spent.
Yeah, we're the same. In the last quarter, everyone was blowing a fair bit. So, we spent a lot of tickets in the first three quarters and couldn't quite hold on, so it was pretty disappointing.
Added midfield time for you tonight. Are you enjoying going in there, and how's that transition been?
Yeah, it's been good. Still, obviously learning on the job, but I played a little bit more midfield time in the last couple of weeks and really enjoying it. Got Stewie Dewey's mids coach, and he's great. So, they've given me an opportunity in there, and hopefully you can grab it with both hands.
What changed in that midfield? It felt like you were certainly on top in that first half. How did the Swans then sort of get ascendancy in the second half?
Yeah, I think they just got on the move a little bit more and started to play their way that they've played for most of the year. So, the start of the third, I thought they started to get on top and we managed to wrestle it back a little bit at the end of the third. So, good match up in there all night and quality outfit in there. So, I thought the midfield was pretty good tonight.
You must be really proud as a group of how close you're pushing these really good teams, but also really frustrated that you're just falling short in so many of them.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's 3 or 4 now that we've fallen short. All different scenarios as well. We've come from behind and we've been leading at stages and just can't quite hold on. So, it is obviously disappointing. I guess you can't be too happy with the effort. The effort's just sort of expected. We're still sort of learning on the job. We're a young group. So, hopefully it turns soon.
Is Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell.
Joe, it's Loz Arnell. Well done. I thought you played an exceptional game tonight and you've had a pretty good run since moving into the midfield and something to be proud of while disappointed with the loss. I'm interested in your move inside. Is it something you spent any time on in the pre-season or is it something that's just come about throughout the season as it's progressed?
Yeah, thanks, Loz. No, it's sort of just come about in the last few weeks. We've spoken about taking the pressure off the guys that are consistently in there, like Butsy and Hornet and Dewey and Wine. So, I guess just throwing a few more things at the opposition and giving those guys a little bit of a back seat. So, I guess that's what I've been thrown in there and a little bit more pace in there as well is what I've been told. So, it's just been sort of, thing of the last few weeks.
No, you can absolutely see that speed inside and your clean hands are adding to the group in there, so well done. I'm really interested in Josh's message, if you've had a team meeting or whether you've spoken to Connor or Zach coming off the ground, and just seems to me, obviously, huge disappointment in losing that game, but surely some steely resolve into the future after a pretty strong performance against one of the top-end teams this year.
Yeah, Curry's message after the game was just, good effort, but effort's sort of expected every week and should be disappointed with the loss and, just sort of mentioned that we're a young group and still learning sort of how to win. So, as I said before, hopefully it turns soon and we can all learn as a group from these close losses. So, hopefully it does turn soon.
Joe, Rod Jamieson, who'd you follow or did you model your game on a particular player growing up?
I was a big Hawthorn fan. I like Sirioli. I don't really play like him, I don't think. I'm not quite at that stage.
And the reason for the question, I mean, you stood Isaac Heaney a few times in the middle. Like, from today, if you look back at the tape straight after the game, I know, but is there something that he did you just went, wow, that was super impressive?
Yeah, there's definitely stages where he shrugs someone off and laces someone out that you just, you can't help but sort of watch that. And Butsy does that for us as well. He's probably one that I'm learning off the most in the midfield, so he's been great. Obviously, we're similar stature. I've got him for height just, so, as I said, still learning from Butsy, but it's great to play against good players like Heaney.
What's your left foot like? Cyril Rioli was all right with it?
Nah, it's definitely not that level. Yeah.
Joe, you talked about Zach Butters and learning from him. What's he been like around the club? Because he probably gets mentioned, 1,000 times a day about what he's going to do in the future. But what is he doing now at the club?
No, he's still all in 100%. Obviously I'm not sure what his decision is going to be, but he's given his all to the club, and he's the captain at the moment while Connor's out. So he's always given 100% and leads the boys really well.
From one end to the other, Xavier Bammett made his debut today. What did he bring? And I feel like he's going to be a cult favourite from tonight onwards.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of him just yet. He's only been at the club for a couple of weeks, but got down and watched the Port Maggies last week, and he was great in that. He's pretty tough and puts his head over it and has a nice left boot, as you would have seen tonight. So, yeah, good of him to kick off his career with a goal, and I thought he showed some good signs tonight, so I hope he can keep going with it.
Hey, Joe, big game for you next week, back at the G against your old mob, Collingwood. How are you feeling in the build-up?
Nah, fine. It's been, a year and a half now, so, I guess that's sort of blown over a little bit versus last year, and they were fine, so... Yeah, roll on to next week and hopefully can get a win.
No, congratulations on the performance tonight. I know you just fell short, but it was a terrific effort, and hopefully it gets you over the line next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Abby.
Joe Richards downstairs on ABC Sport after the Swans won by 3 points over Port Adelaide, 14-9. The 93 to 13-12, 90 in front of 31,350 here at the Adelaide Oval. Aaron Bryans, Tom Wilson, Rod Jamieson and Lauren Arnell unpacking it all for you over the next 22 minutes, so you can get in touch 0437 774 774, and we might unpack the earlier games as well. Reminder that the Women's T20 World Cup has just started, so the first game earlier today saw England defeat Sri Lanka. While we were on air, Scotland were playing Ireland, and Scotland won that game by 40 runs. Not the group that Australia is involved in, though. That is the one where they play South Africa, so this is their first Group 1 match tonight, which is at Old Trafford. You can hear it from 11:15 Eastern on the dedicated Women's Cricket World Cup button. It's nice and grey on ABC Listen. Every game available to you as well on the T20 World Cup button. So if you love your cricket, it's time to get back into it. Footy's been around for a fair bit, but there's been a lot happening, and obviously the soccer's around as well, Jamo, and
Love
the NBA finishes tomorrow. Could finish tomorrow. I'm getting ahead of myself with the Knicks.
What about Knicks? What about that? Like 29 points, wasn't it? 2.
Yeah, Spurs have had a couple of chances, and they just keep letting it slip.
I got stuck. I watched South Africa and Mexico. I was up till 1 o'clock last night, Loz. Half time. Got to go to bed.
Let's do a couple of quick hits. So we've done a fair bit of Sydney, but I do want to just wrap it up with where are they sitting in your rankings? Because, Fremantle are on this terrific run right now. The Swans keep finding a way through the injuries, and Isaac was bang on. So 14 first-name players, well, not 13 first choice, but certainly 14 players that are out. I mean, some of the big names in there include Errol Goulden, like he's going to be a massive inclusion after the bye. McInerney and McCartan were there tonight, Papley and Rampy. So this team can get better, but it still keeps winning anyway. How do you feel? I mean, Geelong's around the mark as well. Premiership favourites, where are you leaning?
Yeah, I think Sydney have to be right in that conversation, and you expect them to earn that top 4 spot quite comfortably too now. And I think we mentioned throughout the game, like the most important bit for me is the Cunningham move and the Hamling coming in, and just the performance from those types of guys. You need. I feel it almost feels unfair to describe them as bottom end, but the reality is they've come in to this side with many injuries. If you've got your mid-tier to bottom end of your list performing like that in an away game at this point of the year, you're giving yourself every opportunity to be there on the last day in September. And I can't fault them. I think they've got an exceptional midfield. The catch is going to be, do they have enough tall defenders against the top end? And Freo will stretch you. So if they end up in a match-up in the finals against Fremantle, for example, then that could be a real challenge for them if someone like McCartan's not back out there.
We've got 9 games remaining, 4 at the SCG. The next month is incredibly difficult. So they got Brisbane, Western Bulldogs, Fremantle in Perth, and then Adelaide. And then if you go the 5th week, GWS. And not to say that the last 4 aren't that hard. They've got to play St Kilda, Port Adelaide go to the SCG again, then Essendon and Kangaroos to finish off. So I think they're a definite top 4, if not top 2.
Well, they're 4 games clear of 5th now, and the Hawks have a game in hand, but you'd think that's arguably enough at this stage of the year, unless you really bottle it, to hold on to a top 4 finish.
Because, again, with all the injuries they've got, like they are absolutely only going to get better.
And that's what Isaac spoke to, didn't he? He talked about, we've still got a lot of work on us.
And to have the confidence that Heaney had to say it's one of the better teams I've played in at this point of the year, I think that speaks volumes for the Swans. But also, you can't underestimate Freo and Sydney being the interstate teams out of Victoria. So not just banking wins at their home venue, and particularly the SCG, it's such a nuanced field. It's so small, and they should know how to play it better than anyone, but there's an absolute way to play small ovals, and so they're just going to keep banking wins, in my opinion. And then you should earn a home final, at least one. I think that serves them really well.
Yeah, I think we take maybe I do. We're lucky enough in this privileged position to watch at Adelaide Oval. When I lead a lot of the record and the information on players and pocket profiles, they all say that Adelaide Oval is almost their best ground that they come to play. And again, Isaac Heaney talked about it there. And having a look in here, even the best change rooms, at Adelaide Oval, but I never really thought it was that hostile, I must admit. I know we're loud.
You're having a laugh, Jabbo.
I think we're so used to that.
Maybe I am. I didn't think we were that hostile in terms of the crowd, but
I think it absolutely is, as Lauren is saying. I just think that's what you're used to.
That's your baseline.
Yeah, that's your baseline.
Oh, someone who grew up in Melbourne and started commentating Saturday night games in Victoria for years, and then at the Gabba, nothing compares to Adelaide Oval for me. Perhaps your Anzac Day finals, first 2 weeks of finals in Melbourne's pretty awesome.
Yep.
But week to week, the parochialism of the fans here for both the Crows and Port Adelaide, it's unmatched.
Yep.
Yeah, we get it a lot on the text line where people are saying, you sound so excited for the home side and not the away side. And it's purely because the crowd just isn't there. When the the away side kicks a goal, it's like a pin drop sometimes. It is 95% to 5 sometimes at this venue, and it is so parochial, as you said.
And Isaac Heaney referenced that too in the post-game interview. He said, we love making them quiet. And to be really honest, it made me think my last game of footy here against the Crows, and the crowd wasn't as big as tonight, but when you can silence either an Adelaide crowd or a Port Adelaide crowd here as an away team, you're on top. You're going pretty well.
Flip side of things for Port Adelaide, so their dream is obviously to sneak into the wild card, and the way they're playing, they have every right to press that case. Problem is where they currently sit right now is they're 2 games back, and they've just given away one of those because the Giants are on the bye, so they're probably 3 now the way they're travelling. Is it realistic? The draw's not too bad. You get Collingwood North, the showdown's always winnable, St Kilda in the next 4. And I think statistically they're probably one of the softer draws that Champion Data reckon on the run home. I mean, they're playing a good brand of footy. Do they have a right to be featured in finals?
Oh, you just look at the teams above them coming into the round, and obviously North have got the win in Perth this afternoon / tonight. Carlton are up and going. The Saints should be far better than what they are, and I think Collingwood will drift. But yeah, I find it hard to see them. I think there's a good carrot there, and it should be spoken about, and there's definitely an opportunity because the best of Port Adelaide right now is really, really good, as we saw again tonight. But I just don't think they've banked enough wins. And I think the teams who are only just above them this season are better.
The people that think they've got a soft draw must be drunk. Seriously.
That's the Champion Data stat.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
they've
still got Collingwood, Adelaide, Kangas, tough. St Kilda, tough. Then they go Freo, Brisbane, Giants, Sydney, Melbourne.
That's not a soft draw.
That is not a soft draw.
Maybe that was like a pre-season ranking, and things have evolved.
Yep.
They've done well with their percentage. I mean, they're still above 100. And I know they've had a lot of those close losses, and they add another one to that 1-5 now in these top teams matches. But I think we sort of thought about, are they going to get blown out? They sort of haven't been blown out yet outside of round 1, and maybe you could probably count the Carlton game where they didn't really show up, and it sort of felt like it could be tonight, and for them to start so well, and I think that'll have to be a measure for them as well. They're going to be wanting to win games. They're getting games into young players, but if they can avoid those soul-crushing blowouts that we've seen West Coast have, we saw North Melbourne have. They had 13 goals straight kicked against them by the Crows, and then 19 by Freo. I mean, the amount of experience in that team compared to Port Adelaide's team, and they're very close on the ladder. So it's a funny thing, footy. There's this sort of concept, and I'll bring up that bit where I was talking about where it's like, oh, it's not worth winning now because of draft picks. These teams and clubs historically have chosen not to care about winning, have been down the bottom for a very, very long time.
It's a really good
Carlton
point.
through the thousands, Melbourne through the tens until they finally got it together, and North Melbourne are the current form of that.
I was even looking at the coaches that Sydney have had, but like Longmire 333 games, Paul Roos prior to that 202, prior to that Rodney in 152. Go to Carlton, Loz. Far out.
Does that upset you, the Carlton changing coaches thing? Does it?
Absolutely does.
Stirring him up.
I got him back. Loz, for you. I got him.
No, you got him.
I shouldn't actually say this because when my girls at home go, Dad, let's just play hypotheticals. And I go, no, not doing it. But if you take Zach Butters out of that team tonight, which is the talk and the potential that might, like, that is a monster hole. I don't know how they're going to feel that if that does unfold in terms of his ball-winning ability and what he does with it. He led the way with 27 disposals, 71% kicking efficiency, and like just his ball-winning ability and his leadership.
That's the frustrating part of the situation is that if they're probably going to go backwards if he leaves. And right now it feels like the trajectory is really good, but you lose a star player and you don't instantly replace him. You go to the draft. That's another couple of years to get everybody at their premium place. And it's hard because they look like they are ready to be a couple of years away from being a genuine threat. And
that might be part of why Joe Richards is going to the middle of the ground too.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt about that, Jamo. And I think also, let's not underestimate. I know there's always hype on drafted kids at the middle point of the year. It's June, right? So all these kids are getting massive hype, but let's not underestimate how good Dougie Cochrane's going to be. Like, I've seen him play enough Sanford footy. He's a star, and he's going to have an 18-month lead-in at the footy club before he gets picked up. And the fact that they're not winning these close games will benefit them in being able to get him in the draft. So, I no doubt agree. Butters, exceptional player. Probably their best performer alongside Aaliyah so far this season. Horn Francis has been really good, but I'd have Butters and Aaliyah leading the BNF. Big hole, but I do think it will serve them. Yeah, long term. And that's the benefit of Josh, is like you've got a group of guys who probably shouldn't be that close to Sydney tonight, who are playing with enormous heart, and you're going to add real talent underneath that. I think it can be positive.
And you bring Rosie back. He's basically hasn't played this year. Like, he's their captain of their footy club, two-time All-Australian, I think.
Sam Powell-Pepper's barely played in at least a couple of years.
Yep, so Powell-Pepper comes back, and Miles Bergman's sort of that other one who's, he's had a frustrating run of injuries. I mean, his back half of last year was nothing short of sensational. So, the Zach Butters, spot on there, Aaron, because part of how this excitement for a Port fan of how they're getting so close in these games, a lot has to do with Zach, but they just might have to deal with what's going to be the inevitable. That'll happen in 10 or 11 rounds time, but in that meantime he can still be a big part, as Joe Richards sort of mentioned, helping this footy club for the back half of the year.
You can't knock him that he's continued to show heart, even if maybe his foot is halfway out the door. So Port Adelaide ultimately go down by 3 points against the Swans tonight. Absolutely amazing game. 14-9, 93 to 13-12, 90. Who's on the votes tonight?
I would very quickly handball to Loz if I could. Like, I'm just trying to pick the better players and how they could. But I think what I'll do is I'll go one vote. I'm going to say Callum Mills, and there'll be a couple of names in here that you'll just go, I could be drunk, actually.
that is your pedigree, Jamo. So,
but I'm going to give 2 votes to Darcy Byrne-Jones.
Yes. Yep, I'm with you.
But I'm going to give 1 or 3 votes to Brodie Grundy. Like, he's had a monster game. I thought it could have gone to Jordan Sweet, and the only reason I wouldn't give it to Jordan because Sydney have won, but Grundy's had 26, and he's had 19 handballs, 19 contested. He's had 9 clearances, 2 inside 50s. Like, he's just around the ground. And again, both he and Sweet are the 2 leading players in clearances. So,
especially in the clutch, like those dying stages, Sydney won a fair few centre clearances because he was hitting them to Chad, and that was when he needed to stand up. Were you pretty much around that mark, Loz?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, I think there's a good spread of probably top 6 or 7 players in this game tonight. I thought Chad Warner's probably a little bit stiff there, 544 metres gained.
Yep.
He's in the mix. But, yeah, I agree with you. And Isaac Heaney, who we spoke to.
Kane Farrell, 622 metres gained.
And first game back, too, from injury from Farrell. I thought he was really good. And also Rowbottom had a reasonable role on him for most of the game, but Alir was good. Huge game, despite the turnovers. But no, I'll back you in, Jammo.
Oh,
beauty. Wonder Mills.
I love you, Loz.
2 to Burne-Jones, 3 to Grundy, and that's how we'll wrap up our Sydney and Port Adelaide coverage tonight. The earlier games, so Melbourne defeated Essendon by 45 points. I've said it a few times, but it does mean the D's will be in the top 4 at the end of this weekend. Max Gawn prolific again, so 24 touches, 2 goals alongside.
How good's next week's game going to be?
Amazing. Keziah Pickett's in a rich run of form as well, so 32 and 3 for him. A lot of injuries, and I guess the biggest, so Melbourne had a few with Petty's hamstring, Cook the debutant hurt his cheekbone, and Harvey Langford's quad, but Archie Roberts for Essendon in a season where they're already battling, to lose a guy who was racking them up across half-back and running through the middle is a big blow.
It's not ideal. And one of their more exciting younger players too. When does the bleeding end for Essendon?
Yeah.
Seriously. At what point does the pain just minimise for their supporters in that footy club?
They've hit a black cat or something, because it's just, more than perennial problems for them. North Melbourne and West Coast ended up being a thriller, and this is the one that, the Roos have copped a lot of flack over the last few years for this 3-year deal of selling games out west, which has now resulted in 2 wins and 2 losses across the last 2 campaigns. And look, they made a lot of money out of it, and they'll be happy that they walked away today with the win, because they almost lost it. They were up late. Jake Waterman had a set shot from 30 metres out. This is how the last kind of dying stages went.
Sherry just surely has to put it deep inside forward 50 if he can. He'll kick towards left half forward. Bailey J. Williams got a touch on it, came down to Hoff, gave it to Marek, kicks back towards centre wing. North Melbourne hang on to win by a point. A 125-point turnaround from last week, and they'll take 4 points and $2.5 million out of WA in 2026.
So Waterman hits the post. North Melbourne hang on in the dying stages and get the job done against the Eagles in a thriller. You don't always want to knock one guy in what's a close game, because it's so many moments, but poor old Jakey would love his time again from that set shot.
Just having a quick look. I think that was his only score that he kicked today as well. So he's normally prolific in front of goal. And
Waterman, 3-3 for the afternoon.
Oh, 3-3 was it? Maybe I was drunk.
I mean, we probably missed a half on the way in, but Job Shanahan was another one who was, he's going to be an absolute star. Another couple of inaccuracies, inaccurate moments, but 3-2 and it's huge.
I reckon there was a couple of others as well that missed leading up to that too, from difficult angles for West Coast.
They had their chances,
I reckon they had 3 shots and missed them all.
But it was one of those where, North had a really good third quarter, but I felt that first half that, they showed a lot of promise in the first month, and it feels like they've gone right back to where they were. And look, they won today, and they're still right on the cusp of the top 10 given this new wildcard system. But, I've lost all of the belief I had in them.
It's a roller coaster,
I just feel like they're stuck in this mediocre area right now.
They should be better. They absolutely should be better. I would have picked West Coast today if Ginby was in that side. Yep. But I nearly did pick West Coast too. But, to get belted last, again, no AFL side should be getting beaten by 100 points.
That's right.
Seriously. Doesn't matter how bad your injury list is. And it's happening to Richmond, it's happening to West Coast, it's happening to Kangaroos. I'd sort of accept 10 goals, but not 20 plus. That's just insane.
Not with their list. Where Richmond and Essendon are at, you can understand it at times. But for North Melbourne, who, they're stacked full of all these early picks they've had for nearly a decade now. And, it felt like finally they were starting to find a system. And for some odd reason, the last month, they just, I don't know, they've lost all sort of connection.
Who's got the bigger roller coaster, North or Gold Coast?
Maybe North because of the margins, but for Gold Coast fans, and no doubt inside that club, be very frustrating. Never in it last night, were they?
No, and I know there's been a little bit of chat about Bailey Humphrey, and I was lucky enough to go to Darwin and watch commentate the Port Suns game, about a month ago now. And I was so excited to see Bailey Humphrey play live, and it was the game that Rowell returned. And I reckon that's coincided with Humphrey's decline, particularly with his numbers and his influence on games, because Rowell has to take the centre ball-ups that Humphrey was getting a look at. And I think that's the kind of player that you absolutely need up and going. Like, he's a Dustin Martin prototype, and he's just fallen off a cliff since Rowell came back into the team.
Yeah, it's weird when I think everyone looks at the team on paper and go, Rowell, Anderson, Petrarca, and you think, yeah, how is this team, Ben King's like lighting up in front of goal, and you go, this is a side that should be a contender. But maybe it was the fact that domination of Geelong in opening round just set a really high bar that maybe they weren't ready for. Like
Jared Witts too, getting omitted.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, I got to see him at the Norwood Gather-Round game, and I thought he was going to be out of the side pretty quickly after that, because
his performance.
It's more just the way that he's moving.
Speed of game.
Yeah, and when they put Mac Andrew in the ruck, like he doesn't run back defensively, but gee, the explosiveness was quite exciting, and Jared just doesn't have that under the new ruck rules. Like, he wins hit-outs, but he's just not doing much around it. And I was surprised he'd kind of taken this long to be omitted, because Ned Moyle's a pretty good talent as well.
Well, that's another one. Ned Moyle, I just can't believe, for a guy as big as he is, I think he's 202 off the top of my head, he can seriously move. He moves like Curnow, and he's huge.
Yeah. So there's something system-wise there with the Suns that just isn't working right now. But
sometimes you can have too much talent on a list.
Not enough for it, need some more role players, maybe.
Yeah, it needs to balance, and to my point about Bailey Humphrey, like, you got to keep guys like that happy, and if you're stacked full of talent ahead of him, it makes it pretty challenging.
The Swans are finding a way to navigate it at the moment, so 14 on the injury list, but yeah, there's a litany of stars that got the job done for them tonight in a very tight affair. So Sydney winners by 3 points. Huge thanks to Lauren Arnell. Good to see you again,
Thank you.
Jamo.
As up, Tom.
Go get over your drunken session
I
tonight.
know. I probably use that term too often, so I apologise for that.
Tom, great calling with you. That was good fun at the end. Huge thanks to Josh Money downstairs and Simon Rose, our tech as well. Zane Bojack back in the studio. Big day of fallout for you tomorrow, and still some footy to come as part of round 14. So AFL Sunday from midday. Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling will walk you through all the events of today and get some feedback and fallout as well.
Socceroos tomorrow?
Socceroos tomorrow afternoon if you want to watch that. So SPS is your home for that. Women's T20 World Cup is underway, so Australia playing tonight. You can hear it, pretty much in 15 minutes. So Australia and South Africa are coverage from 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. There is a dedicated T20 Women's World Cup button for every game as well. And then your 2 footy games tomorrow. So doubleheader as part of these shortened bye periods. So we get Richmond and Brisbane up first in Bellerive. Tigers have sold a game. Headed to Hobart. 1 p.m. Eastern for that. And then St Kilda and the Giants at Docklands to wrap up the round from 3 p.m. So stay with us for it all as part of ABC Sport on ABC Radio, Sport Digital and ABC Listen. So midday tomorrow, we'll kickstart your footy coverage again with Matt Clinch at AFL Sunday. Huge thanks for those who joined us across the night. Congratulations to the Sydney Swans, winners by 3 over Port Adelaide, 14-9, 93 to 13-12, 90. Stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow on ABC Sport.